Oh, you know what I love?
Sports.
Love sports.
Sports. When
it comes to
Texas A&M.
Where are you getting this information?
let me tell you.
Welcome to TexAgs.
TexAgs Live.
I feel like I should be listening to the theme song from the Jeffersons. You know, we're moving on up.
We will develop men, we will graduate players, and we will win championships on the field.
It's a blessing to be in the position, and we're just thankful to be here. We're thankful to have the opportunity to go out there and play in front of the 12 man.
He is a guy that has gotten better and better and better. He's just got that dog in him.
It's been special. The 12th man this past week was unbelievable.
And this is a real program. It's not fake. This is a real place. And if you want to be really good at football, this is a really good place to be.
You know, if I'm betting on anybody, it's the Aggies.
I'm betting on a loaded show. Maybe not as loaded, but loaded.
Okay.
Buchanan, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Nuño?
I'm doing well, thank you. We like to start off with our last names. Yesterday, the first day of practice, and the question we got this morning, and I got last night when I got home, how was it? It was practice. But guess what it was? It was an opportunity, at least the way I look at it, OB, to see the changes potentially from people year to year body-wise.
Yeah.
And also see the new guys in somewhat action.
Yeah, somewhat action. I'm with you. So, look, they're always big. They're always big guys.
Yeah.
They're major college football players. And yet some of them look a little bit different. I saw Fathery, for instance.
He looked good.
I mean, yeah, he looked.
I think that everybody I've seen from the O-line, like, there's something more svelte. Is that the word?
Yeah, maybe. And yet they're still enormous.
Yeah.
So that kind of got my attention. And then, I spent a lot of time just looking at the guys who were coming back from injuries and feeling good about the way they were moving, right?
I'm going to give an example. We were standing by each other. Le'Veon Moss.
Yeah. I saw him show acceleration. Not enormous cuts, but some little short cuts.
There was one time we saw him like sky for a ball and he jumped up and
went
picked
way
it up.
to make a catch. So, that's encouraging.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like, as expected, looks like those guys are back 100%. I was watching Tariq Chappelle go through some of the agility drills. Look good.
Can I overrate? Maybe it's not overrated. Maybe it's just the reality. I can tell a difference with this wide receiver crew just from watching them in action that doesn't matter. Like when I say that, the way Casey Concepcion moves off the line, there's this twitch, there's this I called it a professionalism to his route running, if you will. We didn't see amazing route running. That wasn't what the practice was designed to do. But it just looked different.
Like a sharp cut.
Sharp cut explosion off the line. He just looked like this is a different level of wide receiver. I was hoping to see that. Sometimes I'm underwhelmed. I was not underwhelmed. That was actually, it was great.
Yeah, I got to admit, sometimes I don't know what I'm seeing yet. I need another guy out there actually guarding them.
Yeah, I agree.
To understand how fast they are. And yet it feels like, these are guys who are really quick and making a quick move and things like that. And it feels like that. But, I'm just not that guy that can watch a pitcher and say, oh, he's throwing in the 90s.
Yeah.
I got to see a batter, being way behind and stuff like that. So, like what I saw, and yet I'm not exactly sure what I saw, but I get the feeling that, I'm seeing more speed like they've talked about.
Look, this may not mean anything. A bunch of bodybuilders aren't going to win a football game,
True.
Right? But they look like a stronger, muscular team. That's what they look like to me.
Yeah, well, look, all I can figure is that in the offseason, Tommy Moffitt and Mike Elko got to say, hey, where do we got to get better? And how do we, here's some of the things we feel like would make us a better football team to get the 4th and 1 or to do this or to make us more explosive. And Moffitt, I'm assuming, tailored some workouts. And we're seeing guys that look like that maybe that's what they did. I'm sure the guys worked real hard. You don't you don't make some of the changes without really putting in a lot of effort. I know this because I don't put in a lot of effort.
You wake up every morning to work out.
I'm just saying during the workout.
During the workout. Yeah. You're not going to failure is what you're saying.
No. Well, yeah, that's my whole life. I've gone to it.
So I was not there for the press conference afterwards. The gaggle. Was that more of a press conference?
You want to talk about a guy that looks different?
Yeah.
Is, oh my gosh, I just had a senior moment. Ratcliffe.
Okay.
Ratcliffe looks, man, you want to talk about a guy that goes from being looks like a major college football player to a guy that looks like maybe he's even playing out of position at safety. I mean, he looks like the big strong safeties,
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's like 6'4", like Steve Atwater or some of those old guys, but man, this guy's put together.
So he spoke yesterday, as did KC. Any takeaways from what you heard from them?
A lot of confidence. I would expect nothing less. KC talked about his versatility and his speed and how he's really feels like he runs really good routes and all the things that we want to see. That, quite frankly, I've got a column coming out about him later this morning, and I believe we're going to have some highlights from his 2023 season at NC State on there. And if you watch those highlights, you say, "Oh, this guy's really fast. He runs really good routes. He's very versatile." So all the things he talked about that he is, the videos confirm it.
Well, and the reason 23 is a big year was there was a little better chemistry at quarterback.
They had a good quarterback,
They did.
and I think last year they had a true freshman quarterback. I think maybe he's a redshirt, but a freshman quarterback making his first start. The quarterback he had before played in the Canadian Football League.
Oh,
I think for the BC Lions.
okay.
Brennan Armstrong, and he was a pretty good quarterback. The guy they had last year was very unproven, and again, at his first time, and so predictably the numbers went down.
Hey, so what are we? I guess we're 30 days away from a game.
Is it 30? Okay, yeah, 30 days. 30 days.
Game day experience at Kyle Field, buddy. Nothing like it.
Yeah, it's really fun. It's something to look forward to.
It is.
We've been looking forward to it since the day after the Las Vegas Bowl.
Yeah, honestly, college football wants to fix their big problem. It's too short of a season, or too long of an off season. How about that? I don't like waiting 9 months, OB.
Well, we don't wait. Is it 9 months?
I mean, basically.
Here's what you do. I've got your answer.
Okay.
Your answer is get into the playoff and play playoff. Get into the college football playoff, Aggies, and go deep into it, and then
that is only 8 month play off season.
I just knocked off a whole month.
God bless. Can we Major League Baseball, soccer,
what?
Everything lasts forever.
Spring football doesn't do it for you.
If we could have some games.
That's one thing I agree with. I think they ought to be able. Now, Mike Elko asked him about it. He doesn't want that.
Yeah, he don't want to get injured.
But
nice grammar, David.
I think it'd be great if you could schedule a team in the spring to have a real game again.
I think you have three.
Three.
Yeah, and you let the freshmen play. All right? You don't want to get your quarterback hurt? No problem. You play against the schools in the state. Yeah.
In the spring, you want to see the guys that aren't proven. I've heard even Kevin Sumlin one time. Remember Isaiah Golden?
I do.
Too bad he had some off-field issues because I think he could have been a good player here. But one year he was out in the spring, and how does that affect his standing on the depth chart come August? Some guys we already know what they can do. Right.
But the reason I brought up the game day experience at Kyle Field, Oddspedia surveyed the top programs that determine the most expensive and cheapest tickets. Do you think Texas A&M will be on the top 10 list?
Top 10? Probably not.
I'm going to read you. This is based on 2024 numbers, okay?
Yeah, is Notre Dame way up there?
Colorado, number one.
Colorado?
I didn't know people went to those games. $302 per game. I guess it's the Dion difference.
That's surprising.
Okay. Alabama Crimson Tide, $295. I get it. I guess the average price of ticket. The Texas Longhorns are on there at $292. Number 4 on the list, the Fighting Irish, $291.
Several years ago, when I was working at my other job, I did I called every Division I team, and I found out what was the cheapest season ticket I could buy.
Yep.
Now, a lot of places, like you just mentioned, well, yeah, but you got to give a donation first. So I wonder if that's factoring
if those
into
numbers
it.
are skewed because of that.
But like Vanderbilt, you could buy a season ticket for $100. In fact, there were people like Alabama fans, if they were going to be playing Vanderbilt that year, they would buy Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt sold a lot of season tickets to visitors because they say, well, I might not be able to see my team play all year, but I can see them play that game.
You've seen that tweet before, I'm sure, with teams where the thief breaks into the car and they steal everything in the car, but they gave back the season tickets to XYZ team. Number 5 on the list, $289 for the Georgia Bulldogs.
Okay. Number
6, UCLA. I didn't know people went to those games.
Maybe it's just because everything's more expensive in California.
That's got to be it. $284. South Carolina, $277 at number 7. Why am I yelling? Number 8, Texas A&M.
Texas A&M.
$268.
I figured things in Texas are just less expensive, but okay.
And then North Carolina, 9 and 10 is the Kansas Jayhawks. Ron Burgundy.
Man, Kansas. Okay.
So, and it has also a list of the cheapest tickets. Looks like the cheapest ticket in Division I experience, Western Kentucky at $84.
You know, over there in Bowling Green, Kentucky. I've been to Bowling Green, Kentucky, and driven by Western Kentucky.
Cheapest ticket in Texas?
I'm just in Division I.
Division I.
UTEP.
North Texas Mean Green.
The Mean Green.
The Mean Green, $106.
My grandparents were from Denton.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Hey, let's tell
a lot
the
of time up there.
I want to flip roles. You're going to be the host now. You're going to tell everybody all the particulars.
Great. Well, hey, you're listening to TexAgs Live.
Yeah, presented.
Yeah, I'm going to get there.
Okay.
Presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We are in the Rollo Insurance Studio. This is Go Hour, brought to you by CC Creations, and we will be going soon to the Holistic Planning Cool Zone, and we'll also be on the Puppies Catering Hotline.
You don't need me anymore. You have graduated to host. It is your show. So now when I'm taking my 6 weeks vacation, or Gabecation as I've taken a couple times, you can be the host.
Okay.
You actually probably could.
Actually, one time back when Gabe was here, I would say, hey, look, because Gabe took more vacation like, Paris Hilton. And I would say, he was always looking for a host. I said, I could do it. No, I don't want you to have to do it. And then they would put sometimes they put people on to host and
like just from down the street, like Billy can do it or not Billy. Joey can do it.
Well, typically a lot of times it would be our interns.
Oh, okay.
And
Jake, you ready to roll?
So I'd say, whatever. Hey, it just puts less pressure on me.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, I don't have to come up with the talking points. Now I can talk
about anything.
Pretty much.
I'm just going to throw you a topic. Tight end.
Tight end, I was really impressed with the tight ends yesterday. We were talking about size earlier, but you want to talk about some big dudes. We've talked about before, Theo was a big dude anyway, but he looks like he's gotten even bigger. He's going around, I guess, 6'5", 6'6", around 257. Mm-hmm. And yet he's not even the biggest guy out there. Did you notice Keontae Armstrong? He's a freshman.
Oh,
he's coming in.
I looked at him like, he's playing soon. I don't know if it's this year, but I can see him at this level.
Yeah, but is he going to play tight end or
defensive
tackle? He's coming in. Look, this guy's enormous. He's 6'5", 275. Now you wouldn't think much of that if he was a tackle. You'd say, that's a small tackle.
Yeah.
He's got to grow in. But when you're a tight end and running like that, that's crazy big. And by the way, I'm not suggesting that he's going to go to tackle like Demetrius Crownover did, but that guy's a good, a good visit to 1775 from being a tackle.
Oh,
All right,
God.
how's that for taking the tight end and running with it?
Let's come up with another one. Good. Right here. Say green grass.
I prefer green grasses. And did you notice how green it is over there? The grounds crews here at Texas A&M, they do an amazing job. Make sure it's very good watered. I wish my grass looked like that. I actually, used to have a service that would come out to make sure my grass stayed very green, and it grew like crazy. But I do think it's very difficult in Texas, especially this time of year. It's so hot. If you mow your grass too low, the sun will kill it.
Yep.
So you gotta manage that grass just right. Much the way that 1775 manages that barbecue to make it just right.
Last one for you. Back scratchers.
Oh, back scratchers. You want to talk about, look, the older you get, the harder it is to get back there. In fact, I really can't. So when you get that back itch, nothing is worse than walking around feeling like a dog with a flea on you and you can't get to it. So, yeah, look, my wife a few years ago gave me 6 back scratchers, came in a set for Christmas. One of the best, most thoughtful gifts I ever got. I've got one right here in my in here someplace, I guarantee you.
Just don't let it touch the table, please.
Yeah, so anyway, the point is, I can't find it right now, but I promise you it's in here somewhere. Now,
There it is.
if you get an itch and you can't reach it, you just pull this thing out. It's got a little hand on it, and you reach around, and it's you know what? It's just so gratifying. It's amazing. Kind of like that barbecue at 1775. You get that barbecue itch. 1775 will scratch it.
All right, let's go around the room and say hi to the people. Behind the glass is our friend Nick Savage. You have an update on the guest.
Yeah, David Pollack going to join us next segment around 8:20. So just got the times a little mixed up, but we'll have David Pollack on here in the next segment.
Awesome. Looking forward to that. What's going on in your world, buddy?
Just wanted to mention some Aggies as it's kind of watch list season awards or postseason awards coming out for college football. There's been a few Aggies to land on a few of them. The Maxwell Award, which is awarded to the most outstanding player in college football, Marcel Reed and Le'Veon Moss land on that list. The Outland Trophy, which is awarded to the most outstanding interior linemen, Armaje Reed-Adams and Trey Zune fall on that list. The Bronco Nagurski Award, which is the best defensive player, Will Lee III is on that list. And the Butkus Award goes to the most outstanding linebacker, Torian York, finds his name on that list. And more watch lists are coming out every day. So that's just the ones we know up to this point.
Thank you for that, Nick, because it cleared up some confusion. I always thought the Bronco Nagurski Award was for equestrian.
Let's go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center as we segue. Kaylee Dreyer, back-to-back days. Hello, Kaylee. How are you?
Good. How are y'all?
Good. I heard the little laughter in the background.
Yeah.
You try to stay quiet.
I can't. OB.
Have you ever used a back scratcher?
No.
Yeah. I just shower.
Yeah.
I do that too.
Oh, okay. What else? Oh, what do you have for us?
Well, I just wanted to say that football does start today with NFL preseason, the Hall of Fame games. So
who's the Hall of Fame game today?
Detroit Lions and the Chargers.
And we're going for the Detroit Lions, right?
Yes,
right.
Obviously.
Fighting Dan Campbell's.
And then I just wanted to start off by saying I saw 2 graphics on Twitter from Week to Week College Football, and they posted the top 15 SEC offensive linemen as well as the top 15 SEC wide receivers for the 2025 preseason. Oh. And I'll start with the linemen.
Yep.
The Aggies had 3 guys on this list, with Armaje Reed-Adams coming in at number 5, Trey Zune III at number 6, and Demetrius Crownover at number 11.
Awesome.
Interesting. Okay.
OB, you've already done a spot for 1775, so we can't really do like another spot. But I'm gonna give an idea that was mentioned on the A&M boards on TexAgs.com. Okay, A&M football boards.
Okay.
Papa Joe says we should take Cousin Shane to 1775.
Oh, I'm sure Cousin Shane would love it.
Yeah.
He loves a lot of food, but
I not that I'm judging.
But no, I love a lot of food, but you find out, hey, always broaden your horizons and reach for the stars. And if you want to reach for the star of barbecue, first of all, you want to reach in Texas. And secondly, you want to get the best Texas barbecue, 1775.
That's the way to do it.
Scratch that itch.
Scratch that itch with a back scratcher with your third hand.
That's right.
979-492-6241, 1775txbbq.com. And we're back here on TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio Go Hour, presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. Let's go straight to the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. David Pollack joins us, from formerly of ESPN and now C-Ball Get Ball podcast. What's up, David? How you been, man?
Doing wonderful. How you guys doing?
Great. Thanks for joining us. So A&M practice started yesterday. Just love to start off with some thoughts on what you think the Aggies can do this year.
Well, camp's always the realization of camp is always interesting as a player because your social life you realize just ended for the next 8 months. So you're like, all right, no more golf, a lot less social time, just down to business, and it's a good thing. But I think, Elko last year, first time they won 8 games in 3 seasons, and there's a reason. Like when he came from Duke, you knew exactly what you were getting. Like just y'all had him before, right? The defensive prowess, I love the competitive spirit. I love the way he talks to people. I love the accountability. I think when you talk about NIL era, like the state of Texas is in a good spot. Like this is a good thing it's been a great thing for the state of Texas. You look at Texas, the Longhorns obviously had a good couple years, 25 wins the last 2 seasons. Texas Tech's got a lot more mojo. Texas A&M, I think the same thing. They got their coach. They've had talent for the last, several years, but I think you could see last year finally getting the coach, and now your QB partially through the season, adding to it with the portal. So a lot of things that you should be excited about.
Okay. I'm going to change the subject a little bit. Well, actually a whole lot. So David, for those that don't know, Dave was a great defensive end at Georgia. And I assume you still live in Georgia. The last couple of years when we were going to put out a, preseason prediction on who should win the conference, you just say Georgia and expect to feel like you're right. And that's not been the case this year. Everybody's talking about Texas, maybe some others. How's that going over well in Georgia? And just as a side part to that, your thoughts on Gunnar Stockton?
Well, I think that it's the realization, this year that like when you've seen Georgia the last several years, you go, I could name 2 or 3. Y'all could name 2 or 3 preseason 4 or 5 All-Americans, and you're like, yeah, he's stud. There's a lot of guys now on the roster that you look at Georgia's roster, I'm like, who's the All-Americans? I mean, I think Bolden's a stud at safety, but I think there's a lot of unknowns, and that's not what we're accustomed to seeing. And so that's why the Georgia, there's not as much love. Listen, Kirby loves that. Kirby's all right with that. He's going to be just fine actually being told for an offseason that they're not good enough. They're not going to be in the SEC championship game. Last year before the year was Ohio State and Georgia, versus the field. Who's going to win a national championship? And most people were like Ohio State and Georgia because of their talented rosters. So, listen, college football is in a great spot. With the transfer portal, with NIL, like people are going to different places now. It's not going to one roster to load up. The times of undefeated seasons, we're now in like NFL's world now. Longer seasons, obviously, with the talent being spread out now, you're not going to see undefeated. Like there's going to be losses throughout the ways. And so I think, Georgia's definitely got a lot to reload. And Gunnar Stockton, if Georgia plays, here's the answer to your question about Gunnar. If Georgia plays the same style they played a year ago, they'll be much worse with Gunnar Stockton at quarterback. And I say that was the worst rushing offense they've had in 20 years. 20 years. That I was in school, guys. Like I was in school at Georgia the last time their rush offense was that bad. So if they don't have balance, they'll absolutely struggle and they won't be as good as we've seen Georgia be in the years past.
David, if I'm understanding you correctly, so you like the direction college football is going. You like the fact that there's a lot more parity, and are you okay with people being able to transfer every season?
I love parity. I love that more people have a chance to be successful. I 100% like a transfer portal. I don't like the system and where we're at, to be clear. Like, it needs to have more guardrails, and I don't want people to transfer every single year. But like, here's the thing about what people don't realize about the transfer portal is, guess what? Sometimes coaches are wrong. Like sometimes coaches pigeonhole players. And they're not correct. And players could do more than they thought they could do, and they get an opportunity and they're very successful. Like, no, there needs to be more structure, less movement, more accountability on both sides. Like both sides. If you're paying someone, there should be accountability on both sides, a contract, so to speak, of some sort. But I do love that, you used to have guys that went to Bama and Georgia and just sat on their rosters for 3 years and developed and just waited for their opportunity because they knew the NFL was next and that's where they needed to go. Now, those guys are like, absolutely not. I'll go here, I'll go here, I'll go here. Hence you saw more diversity last year in the playoffs.
Hey, Dave, what do you make of other coaches in other conferences like the Big Ten and the ACC questioning the quote strength of schedules for SEC teams because they only play 8 games? I mean, I know they play 8 conference games. But Georgia always had to play Georgia Tech at the end of the year. Are those criticisms valid?
Well, I think as long as we have a system where you don't have the same, people will complain, right? Like if one conference is playing an 8-game schedule, one's playing 9, then yeah, I'm sure there's going to be people that are going to be like, why are we playing 9? Why are they playing 8? Listen, the Big Ten's got the last 2 championships. Like they've got the last 2. So they've got the right to have some bragging rights right now. And do you look at the Big Ten, though, and say they're as deep as the SEC? Absolutely not. Like, there's no debate. But we could fix all this with scheduling. We've got all these things in college football that are so great, that are going in the right direction, that I feel like if we can just give them a few tweaks. But, like, what if we did shorten the schedule to where everybody did 8, but everybody had a crossover with every single league? Like, if you're an SEC team, you play one Big 12 team, you play one Big 10 team, you play one ACC team. Everybody in college football, the crossover would be fantastic. Now we've got more data points to go, so-and-so's better, so-and-so's roster's better. They beat so-and-so. And I think that it's year to year, team to team, college football is evolving. But the Big Ten obviously has a right to say that they're debating for the best conference when they've won the last 2 championships. But if you're going to give me top to bottom or just randomized team week in and week out, like there's a lot of teams that can beat you in the SEC, a lot more than any other league. Look at Pavia and Vandy last year. Like there's still magic, and I could go down the list of so many other teams too. There's just more dynamic, better teams, deeper teams in the SEC. But the top of the conference, make no mistake, the Big Ten's like, well, I mean, we're doing all right over here.
David, I want to ask you about Notre Dame. I know you did a breakdown recently. Obviously, that running game is ridiculous. A&M thinks that they have a pretty good running game. They know they have a pretty good run game. When you break down Notre Dame, what are some things you like, and what are maybe some concerns about them?
Well, when you look at Notre Dame, I think last year, everybody was talking towards the end of the season, and I went on a bunch of different shows, and I was like, man, I think they can win this thing. Like, I think they've got the stuff. I think Morgan. I always want to go Morgan Freeman, by the way. Like, it goes into my head right every single time. I just can't get rid of him. Marcus Freeman. Like, if you spend just a little bit of time with the dude, like he's got the cool vibe, but he's got the disciplined vibe. There's just so much about him. So high school recruiting is going this way. But I think analytics, and you watch him coach, and the aggressiveness, and then figuring out who they are. There's not a lot of things to look at Notre Dame and say, they're not going to be good. Offensive line is going to be extremely talented, extremely good. Love and Price, again, controversial for Penn State fans, best 1-2 punch in the country, because I think Love is the best back in the country. And then you throw in Williams as a receiver, who's a third down receiver who's perfect. They've got a little bit of everything for you. Like, I think it's really good. And then defensively, the big thing with them is losing Al Golden to the Bengals and now having a new defensive coordinator. Like, can the system remain really, really good the same? But they've got a lot of guys that went to the NFL, but man, there's a lot of things I point to that are back. And they're more talented in high school recruiting than they've been. They sprinkle in the recruiting, they sprinkle in the coaching, the discipline. Notre Dame is not going anywhere.
Hey, I'd like to ask you about some other upcoming A&M opponents that you're probably familiar with. First of all, are you buying into all the I don't want to say hype, but increased expectations for Florida, and any thoughts on LSU?
Yeah, I think I was impressed with Florida. I mean, last year watching the way they started, I mean, they got slapped upside the head like my mama did when I did something wrong back in the day by Miami to start the season. I mean, it was like, okay, this is about to go off the rails, but they held it together. And they lost so many guys the years before to the portal, and you saw them going all over the place to play at different schools. But Billy Napier did an unbelievable job, and he's got his quarterback too. I mean, DJ Lagway, he was special when he played last year, and he showed you the cannon. Like, he doesn't take a back seat to anybody in this country with talent wise. Like, he can throw it. Games that he started and finished, they were 6-0. I mean, that's a pretty good. It's a pretty good record. That's not a bad record for a true freshman. But the interesting thing with him to watch and with that offense is he missed all of spring. Now he's missing time in camp. So that kind of worries you a little bit. He was injured last year. So can they keep him upright? Can they keep him healthy? But yes, I think Florida's a really, really good football team. I think their schedule's murderer's row. Like absolutely murderer's row. I would not want their schedule. I would not want Oklahoma's schedule. Those are two schedules that you look at and it's just like, golly, like whoever did this don't like them. They don't like them at all because it's not a schedule that's set up for easy success. LSU is one of the more interesting teams for me because they went transfer portal heavy, and here's with LSU. With Weeks, as a linebacker coming back, one of the best in the country, they could have a dynamic punch there, replacing the secondary and some new pieces in the secondary. If they gel together with their lines, and if they gel together with the portal stuff, like they could be great. But they've got to put it together really fast because they went heavy transfer portal. They lost 4 of their 5 guys on the offensive line. But they got the most important spot, the trigger man. I mean, Nussmeier he's so good. And now listen, A&M fans know he's so good, and then he'll have moments where he'll give that puppy away too. And y'all saw that live and living color last year. So those are both teams that are going to be tough outs for whoever plays them.
Hey, David, this was great, man. Thanks so much for making time. I hope to get you on the show again at some point. And you want to just give a plug for your new podcast?
Yeah, sure. Appreciate it. See ball, get ball, man. Like I'm a big dumb animal defensive lineman, so it made sense to go see ball, get ball because ball moves, you move, you go get it. But no, it's me and one of my buddies, Brent, who's from PFF, Pro Football Focus, and has all the numbers and then the questions, and it's very, very, very little fluff, man. Like we're not cursing, we're not gambling, we're talking ball, man. We love football, and we're going to give you all the different angles and talk all the different teams in the country and just have fun doing it.
David, I appreciate it, man. Thanks so much for your time. Let's do it again, all right?
Absolutely. Y'all have a good one.
You too. David Pollack here on TexAgs Live on the Buppy's Catering Bartending Hotline. Way late for Stephen McGee, but it was worth it. Maybe we can get McGee to stay a little bit longer. We'll hit a break here. We'll come back with Stephen McGee on TexAgs Live. Mistimed it. There we go. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. The Go Hour, presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. Stephen McGee, our QB1, Paragon Financial's best here on the show. What's up, buddy?
Good morning.
How are you?
Fantastic.
You're looking over my notes. Let me tell the people who 25 and 25 today is. Number 17, Mario Craver. This is brought to you by La Casa Tequila, raised in Aggieland and rooted in the SEC.
Ooh.
Tell me you're excited about Mario Craver.
I think we have to be excited about Mario Craver. Right, OB?
I am. He's fast. They need some fast guys on that at wide receiver.
Oh, we need difference makers at wide receiver. I think that was the one group that we probably all would agree that was the biggest underperformer on offense, at least. And, you know, I think has been the case for several years now. And we've been spoiled at A&M to have some great wide receivers.
Yep.
My friend included, you know, I'm biased towards Swopey, but, you know, Christian Kirk and Josh Reynolds, Mike Evans. I mean, you go through a list. We have some guys out there that are game changers, not on the college level, but the NFL level,
Yep.
right? And it's all about getting open at the wide receiver position. Last year, our guys could not separate consistently and get open. And that's very difficult for a quarterback, especially on those third and long distances when you're having to make tight window throws with two high safeties and guys can't get open.
Yep.
Right? And geez, and then you get pressure. You have all these really good defensive ends in the SEC that are getting after you. And having a guy that you know can get it done. I mean, I think they handed the ball to him. He did kick returns. Obviously, you know, as a receiver, Concepcion, and then Craver. You know, Mississippi State is another guy that, in my opinion, in the spring game. Which what do we know from a spring game? They both look pretty good. Would you agree, OB?
Yeah, very much. Because we saw Craver play against A&M, and he had a touchdown. You know, he was just really fast guy out there. We've said this before. We were watching him last year in Starkville. I'm like, you know, Mississippi State's not very good, but they've got something to build with this freshman Craver and this quarterback.
Michael Van Buren.
Yeah, and then, of course, Van Buren's now at LSU.
As the backup, yeah.
And Craver's here. So, hey, let me ask you this real quick. As a quarterback, would you prefer having a big receiver or a receiver of average height who's really fast?
So Tyreek Hill or Mike Evans.
Okay.
Is that kind of what we're...
Well, yeah, but now you're talking about the best.
You're talking about Hall of Fame.
Yeah, the Hall of Famer, like, but of the best, like if you say, hey, you get the best receiver category, but he's short and really fast, or tall and just is a baller. That's a good question. I think the bigger target.
You still like the bigger target. Okay. All right.
All things equal. Now, if the bigger target...
all things aren't equal, because I'm saying the average guy's a lot faster.
As long as the big guy can run 4.5 or below speed-wise,
okay.
I think of one wide receiver that was taller scale that was not that, and it was Jerry Rice, and I think he did just fine.
He did all right.
He might be the best ever. Here's some numbers on a Mario Craver. Averaged 21.6 yards per reception among players with 15-plus catches. Personal best of 10.74 in the 100-meter. And 25 of 37 targets came from 10 yards plus down the field.
I like that.
Yeah.
We need that explosive.
We do. I hope he's a guy that can, quote, take the top off the secondary. You know, does A&M have that now? Because I don't think they had it last
Here's another one, 13 attempts beyond 20 yards. And I think we're working on some numbers, right, of how many times A&M had deep plays.
Yeah, A&M, I was looking at it the other day, and I see, I don't have the numbers in front of me now, but I was looking at how they had long drives versus
big plays.
And they only had four touchdowns all year against major teams. You know, I'm not throwing in McNeese or anything of that, of more than 30 yards or more. Only 4 touchdown plays of 40 yards or more.
Wow.
30 yards or more.
His first career catch, 54-yard touchdown. So,
yeah.
To go to that point.
Was that against Georgia?
I don't have that. I just have that as
it wasn't. It wasn't. It was against Eastern Kentucky in the first game. 1 catch for 54 yards.
We'll take that all day.
Touchdown. But
100%.
If I recall correctly, he had a really nice game against Georgia. In fact, let me look at that.
He had a 75-yard touchdown against Georgia, or 75-yard performance.
Yeah, 2 catches, 75
and
yards.
And a 42-yard, yeah.
That's 37.5 yards a catch in White Oak.
That's good. That's good math.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
I could get a job at Paragon.
Slow down.
Slow down. what did OB run his 100 meters in at Tice Tigers in the 8th grade?
5 days?
5 days? No.
Hours?
I've seen you on that elliptical at the gym. Remember back in the days?
Yeah.
We used to work out at the same gym.
We did.
And I'm telling you, you were going 20 miles an hour on that sucker. I mean, you look like Tyreek Hill out there.
I was tired, Hill.
No, you weren't, man. You're going for 30 minutes. That is unbelievable.
So, considering Craver, considering KC, considering the backfield, okay, and what do you think Colin Klein's offense will look like this year? We know what it looked like last year. What do you think it looks like this year?
I think it looks exactly what you saw for the first 8 games of last year, albeit the snaps when Connor wasn't in there. Mm-hmm. And I think the biggest change is that you get a quarterback that is now much more versed in a system and knows what Colin Klein is asking him to do. And you have, a very veteran offensive line, about as much as you could ask for. And then 3 really good running backs in the backfield that take off a lot of pressure game in and game out. You feel pretty confident that A&M is going to run the ball well. And even when they invite single high defenses, which I expect them to do, you're still going to be able to run it. I feel pretty confident knowing that, which really alleviates a lot of pressure in the pass game, right? You're not attacking a too high defense. Like I think LSU will probably get a lot of too high defense this year, which it just makes it more difficult to get those open windows in the pass game. And so single high, the ability of Marcel to run, I think all this adds up to some easy completions in the pass game. And the most bullish case for me is that you just get everyone back. They know what this offense is asking them to do. They know how to execute it. They're just more comfortable, more confident. And then at the end of the day, no matter what the system is, you just got to have guys out there that can make plays, right? And there's going to be times when it's man-to-man. The whole world knows that the defense is lined up, pressed, and they're daring you to win. And you got to have a guy outside that can win, right? Whether it's a slant route, a go route, whatever it is, just win. Just get open and make the play.
I think Casey Concepcion is that guy. Hey, was there anything that Reggie could do that you could not?
A lot of things. The list is long.
So my question then is, when you were his understudy, right? How much did they put in, in practice and leading up the offseason, everything? How much work did you get in doing
we only had 10 plays.
Okay, bad idea.
we knew all 10, though.
Yeah, I forgot you had an option coach.
All right, let's hit a break here. We'll come back with more with Stephen McGee on TexAgs Live. TexAgs Live, super short segment, only 3 minutes. Unfortunately, Stephen McGee still with us. OB is with us. Go Hour, presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. I'm going to do a buy, sell, lease. Controversial topic, potentially. 4th and short in the red zone, okay?
Oh, gosh.
I'm just going to give you 3 options, okay? Buy, sell, lease, which one you want to go with this roster, okay? Quarterback sneak, power run is one option, okay?
Wait, quarterback sneak or power run?
Yeah, just something short. Yeah.
Quarterback sneak, very different, in my opinion, than quarterback run game in the shotgun.
Yeah, I think it's not a sneak if he's in the shotgun. Just put your guy underneath and go.
Okay, closer. I just don't know which one I'm buying.
Oh, okay.
Definitely not that one.
I'm putting that as an option, as one, okay?
I know you're selling that, right? We agree on that?
I don't know. I got to hear the other two. I got to hear the other two.
Fade, back shoulder to a big wide receiver.
Oh, God. On 4th and short?
Yeah, I'm just giving you some options. Play action boot rollout pass. Or you give me a 4th option. No, I take this over all that.
All right. I'll go first.
Oh.
I'm going to buy the play action boot.
Okay.
These are all 3 things that we did last year, right? This is what you're getting on.
Yep.
I think it was South Carolina where we had 4th and short and we threw a fade ball on RPO. Was that the game? I remember it distinctly, and I remember talking with Ryan about it and why he did or didn't throw it. I'm going to sell the fade ball, and I will lease the quarterback, whatever,
some kind of
run or whatever.
Yeah, if I have Mike Evans, then I'm buying the fade. Right? They should have against Auburn that game. They should have just thrown 4 fades to him. And I'm on board with you, but unless you have a guy like that, I'm selling the fade. I think that's it's too low a percentage. I like the sneak if I have a big quarterback, but I don't have a big quarterback. I got a 182-pound quarterback, so I'm not as big on the sweep there. I mean, on the sneak, but I'll lease it. And then with that quarterback, I'll do a bootleg option.
So, I love the nakeds with the athletic.
So what would be your play call, though? It doesn't have to be those 3. Like if you
jet sweep.
Jet sweep.
What is the old play on the Little Giants?
Never saw it.
You never saw Little Giants?
No.
Oh, bless it. All right. I honestly though, I love, and I know Aggie fans are going to cringe when I say this. I love the quarterback in the gun with the option of RPO, like zone read. Depending on what the defense does, you expect them to be cover 0, all out pressure, and having quick answers. In the pass game like slants, etc.
Jimbo actually had a good play on the
Evan Stewart.
No, what he used to do is take his tight end and go one way, and his tight end would come all the way across. And he was so often touchdowns. Weidemeyer was always open after coming all the way across for a short pass.
Yeah. Well, hey, look, the answer is when you have an athletic quarterback on 4th and short, you have infinitely more options.
Yes. Yes, you do.
And we have Le'Veon Moss back. You feel a lot better. Those tough yards.
Give it to Le'Veon.
Stephen, thank you, buddy. Appreciate you.
Buddy.
Yep, good to see you. Obi, thanks. When we come back, Phil Steele. We'll chit-chat all things college football next on TexAgs Live. Hey everyone, David Nuño and Olin Buchanan and OB. Typically, we start off the show in this section, and we call it the Holistic Planning Cool
The cool zone. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
What do we know about holistic planning?
Well, a lot of cool stuff. For instance, holistic planning can help you with your investments.
I love that.
They can help you with your taxes. So
I don't like paying taxes.
You can get that money from your investments and they keep it. They'll help you keep it away from the government.
Yep.
Not all of it, but more of it. And then they'll even help you with your estate planning. When you're old like me, you got to make sure some of that money you made is there for when you want to retire and just enjoy the rest of your life.
You want your estate to be planned, but they also do something else.
Yeah. Well, if you are like say a sports fan and you've always wanted to,
everybody watching us, right?
Yeah. And you want to. Always dreamed of being an owner? Well, in a certain way you can because they will broker the deal for you to invest in pro sports.
Yeah, what you need to do is check out investinprosports.com. That's where you can get all the information if you want to invest in a team. I don't know what team. He'd probably try to buy the Cowboys. I'd try to buy a lot of the Houston teams. Whatever it may be, investinprosports.com. It is holistic planning, and we love hanging out at the Holistic Planning Cool Zone. We're back on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Appreciate everybody listening in this morning. I'm going to shoot a email to Phil Steele, who's supposed to be joining us here on the program. Nick, I'd love for you to tap dance for a moment of a point that I can respond to when you got a moment.
All right. Well, tap dance away, I guess. Circling back to the David Pollack interview, seemed to be somewhat high on the Aggies. That's always, good to hear from a national perspective. And, he's got a lot of confidence, in Mike Elko. So the phone's ringing, by the way, David. So we'll probably have him here in 1 second. But it's just interesting to hear Pollack's take on Elko. And again, he's high on him, and that'll give me confidence. I respect David Pollack's opinion. I really like when we get him on the show.
I agree with you. And one thing that I hope people really remember was, I know there were people that were very high on the Jimbo hire. I was one of them. But it was a kind of a polarizing coach for many in the media, especially the last few years. I have yet found one person to be like, dude, I don't think Elko's going to get it done. Every analyst we've had, former players, current analysts, former analysts, everybody has nothing but great things to say about Coach Elko. So let's go to the Puppies Catering Hotline and see if Phil Steele has something great to say about Coach Elko. Phil, how you doing, sir?
Hey, I am doing great. How about you gentlemen this morning?
Doing wonderful. Thanks so much for joining us. So I'll start it off I think you're high on A&M, but I want to start off with Coach Elko and himself. What kind of team you think he's building, a program that he's building, and your thoughts on him overall?
Well, the first thing about Coach Elko is he's 3 for 3 and overachieving my expectations for a year. You go back to Duke, both years he finished higher than I expected, and last year A&M, there they are, the final game of the season, playing to get into the SEC title game. So he's 3 for 3 in that respect. I think he's doing a really good job building this team, and so I'm very high on Coach Elko.
All right, so what are your thoughts on A&M this season? You said they've overachieved, so I guess was the 8-4 overachieving in your eyes, or just the way the season played out, and what do you think for 25?
Getting to 7-1, and then, of course, being in contention for the SEC championship game. Now, naturally, the way the season finished with the 4 losses in the last 5 games, that hurt the overall record. But I think to get A&M to where they were last year, number 10 in the country at 1.7-1, was a great job. Now, for this year, they are in year 2, which is a big plus for all head coaches. Every coach I talk to, and you get to year 2, I say, where you at this year? And it's like, well, we're so much better shape. We know the players know the system. We're in, and now we got more of our players in there. And you look at the Aggies on the experience chart; they're number 6 on my experience chart this year, after being number 56 last year. And I'll go to the offensive line as probably one of the biggest areas of improvement. When I talked to Coach Elko last year and went over the offensive line with him, he said, Phil, I think we're probably middle of the pack in the SEC. This year when I talked to him, he said, we're really talented. We're top tier SEC. We're a Joe Moore Award contender. So I think that sort of speaks volume, not only the offensive line, but the overall team. You look at the running backs, you got Moss, Owens, and Daniels. All 3 of those guys could be feature backs. Love the addition of KC Concepcion and Mario Craver at receiver. Marcel Reed now has experience as a sophomore. And defensively, plenty of talent throughout, like Torian York at linebacker, Cassius Howell at defensive end, Will Lee at corner. It's a very talented team. I've got my number 2 surprise team in the country, and a surprise team is a non-top 10 team. Nobody's going to have them in their top 10 that I think has a shot of making a playoff. And I think one upset probably could possibly put A&M in a playoff. I've got them favored in 9 games, got an underdog in 3. I got an underdog at Notre Dame, at LSU, and at Texas. Pull one upset, and all of a sudden A&M's in the playoff with the 2-loss team.
One of the things you said there was the defense. You like the direction it's going, and I believe you're kind of high on the DBs. So last year they gave up a lot of big plays. What do you think will be different defensively, at least with stopping the pass?
I think it's just the second year in the system. Coach Elko is known for defense. Go back to when he was defense coordinator here in 2021. They allowed 15.9 points per game. He was high on the group of the secondary. He felt that they would maybe not top 3 in the SEC, but above average this year. So he felt better about the secondary. I like the addition of Des Ricks last year coming in at the cornerback spot, bringing in Julian Humphrey from Georgia. Willie, as I mentioned, is a guy with NFL potential. Dalton Brooks. So I just like the overall talent. It's the second year of the defense, and I think the secondary will be improved.
If you had a fear for A&M this year, what would that be? And maybe the overwhelming reason why they could be so good.
If I had a what for A&M?
Well, just first off, the biggest fear. If you're an A&M fan, what's one thing that you'd be fearful for?
Probably the quarterback play. Let's say Marcel Reed gets injured or Marcel Reed doesn't have a great year. I think that would hurt the Aggies. I do think he's bulked up. He's somebody that I believe will have a better year, but that would probably be my biggest concern. In fact, of all the units on the team, I rank them in the front of the magazine. I've got most of them in my top units. Quarterback, I've got number 34 in the country. It's the lowest rated unit.
Talking to Phil Steele here on TexAgs Live. And then a reason for, hey, this is why they could be a surprise sleeper team. Is it the ability to play strong defense the Elko way and run the ball?
Yes, absolutely. And that's that would and if Marcel Reed shows your typical quarterback improvement for the second year. Most quarterbacks first year's a learning year. Look at somebody like Dominic Raiola at Nebraska last year. They had a up and down year as a true first-time starter at Nebraska. Second year, I expect big things out of him this year. And if Reed lives up to that potential with the supporting talent they have, I mean, love the run game with the offensive line, the running backs, love the defense, and then as mentioned, they've got some upgrades at the receiver position. If they get good quarterback play, I can see them pulling one of those upsets of the 3 games I mentioned, and all of a sudden get into the playoff. That's why they're my number 2 surprise team.
All right, let's talk about the SEC overall. A lot of new quarterbacks, some established quarterbacks. How do you think the quarterback play this year will affect? I mean, it always affects the standings, but, Texas got a new guy coming in that people are high on. Gunnar Stockton at Georgia. Across the league, new guys. Across all of college football, really.
Yeah, quarterback play is always huge in college football. And I think when you look at the top players, there are some that, come into the season inexperienced, but Gunnar Stockton could have himself a great year. He adds mobility to that quarterback position at Georgia that did well in the big games when called upon last year. And I think he's a good fit for the offense. I think when you go to Alabama, Ty Simpson's probably a better fit for the Alabama offense than Jalen Milroe was last year. And they bring in Ryan Grubb as the offensive coordinator. And talk about surrounding talent for a guy like Ty Simpson. He's got my number 9 rated offensive line, number 4 set of receivers, and number 7 set of running backs. So he's got plenty of talent around him. And Ty Simpson's not some scrubby walk-on. He was my number 3 rated quarterback coming out of high school. So he's one of the top rated recruits. I think he could have a very big year. John Mateer coming in from Oklahoma. I loved what he did at Washington State. He brings his offensive coordinator with him in Ben Arbuckle. And, last year, Jackson Arnold really struggled in this Oklahoma offense, but there was 2 reasons for that, 2 main reasons. The first one, the offensive line had 0 returning starters last year, and the second was the wide receivers got all banged up. They were down their top 5 receivers at times. I think John Mateer's stepping into from a receiving core that was below average last year to above average this year. Same thing with the offensive line. Bill Beldenbaugh still the offensive line coach. He's got a talented veteran unit to work with. I think they'll be vastly upgraded on the offensive line, the receivers. They also have better running back, or their deep running back core. They're adding Jade Knott, who was the top running back in the Pac-12 2 years ago, banged up last year. So I think Mateer steps in and does well. And then I just mentioned Jackson Arnold, as opposed to working behind a weak offensive line and a depleted receiving core. He's got my number 12 rated offensive line to work with and my number 6 receiving core. So I think he'll have a good year. You've got Superman and Lenora Sellers. You've got Florida DJ Lagway. Let's hope he's healthy. So I think there's plenty of good quarterbacks in the SEC. It's going to be a really good year.
Well, let's talk about Florida for a moment. There are questions about Lagway's health, but they also have a difficult schedule. I think you have A&M predicted to win that game. Just what kind of season do you expect from the Gators?
I think they'll have a better than expected season. I mean, when you look at their schedule, they'll probably be an underdog in 5, 6, maybe 6 games this year. I would say they'll be an underdog. You take a look at at Ole Miss. the Georgia game, at Texas A&M, probably to Texas, at Miami, and at LSU. But like when I talked to Coach Napier last year, was going over the schedule with him, I said, Coach, that's a killer schedule. You're probably going to be an underdog in 7 games, and they were. He said, at the end of the year, Phil, I think you'll find the schedule's not as tough as you thought, meaning that Florida is capable of winning some of those games as opposed to, not. And they won 8 games last year. And the thing with Florida, I love their line play. You look at the offensive line and the defensive line. I rate their offensive line number 5 in the country, defensive line number 10. That's a great place to start. They've got Jaden Baugh, running back. They've got some dangerous receivers. And if Lagway's healthy and 100%, I mean, this guy was 6-1 as a starter last year and a big difference, then they win some of those games that they could be an underdog in. I see them flirting with another 8-win season this year despite the brutal schedule.
Why are you so high on Penn State? I'm high on them as well, by the way, but just want to get your thoughts on them this year.
You go back and you take a look at the last 2 national champs. Michigan 2 years ago had a lot of players turn down the NFL, opt to return. They were a senior-laden team and a homegrown team. By the way, on philsteele.com, early next week, I'm going to do a blog on homegrown teams that bring in freshmen. They're still on the teams. They're seniors. It's not these transfer portal-laden teams which are bringing in 30, 40 new kids every year. Same thing with Ohio State last year. Yes, they brought in some transfers, but they were a homegrown team. And they had a ton of players turn down the NFL last year. They all opted to return. They wanted the pair of gold pants for beating Michigan. Well, they didn't get the gold pants, but they won a national title. Well, with Penn State this year, they only lose 5 NFL draft picks, and they could have lost probably 12, 14 draft picks last year. A lot of guys opted to return. Danny Dennis-Sutton at defensive end, Zane Duran at defensive tackle, probably both first-round draft picks. They've got a veteran quarterback. Of all the returning teams, only a couple have a veteran returning quarterback, and Drew Allar is one of those, and I think he's going to continue to improve. He's got my number 1 rated offensive line in front of him, my number 1 set of running backs, and it's not just Nicholas Singleton and Katron Allen. They also have Quentin Martin and Corey Smith, 2 very highly touted running backs last year as freshmen. They got their feet wet. They're going to be the running backs of the future. That's a deep running back core. They hit the portal in one area that they needed to, and that's receiver. They brought in Kyron Hudson of USC, Trevor Pena of Syracuse, Devontae Ross of Troy. So I like those pickups there. The defense is dynamic, as it was last year. And then you look at the schedule. They do have to play Ohio State on the road. They'll probably be an underdog in that game, but they've been close to Ohio State each of the last 3 years. Now they've got the veteran team. Ohio State lost 14 players the NFL draft. I think this is the year Penn State breaks through, that breaks through, and James Franklin finally wins the big ones.
Super intrigued by that Texas-Ohio State game, as the whole country is going to be intrigued by it. I'm having a hard time with how I feel about that game. I think Texas is going to end up winning that game, but going on the road to Ohio State against a team that beat you and then ended up winning the national championship, both teams with new quarterbacks. Julian is saying less experienced than obviously Arch Manning, but Arch doesn't have that much experience. When you look at that game, how does that play into the rest of the college football season, and what are your early thoughts?
Well, both teams are going to make the playoff this year. So really, in the overall thing of the, who's going to win the national title, I don't think it plays into it. I look at Ohio State last year. They went into Oregon and lost that game, but then beat Oregon in the playoff when it was more at a neutral site. And, of course, they had the advantage of Oregon having a long layoff, and they had just played the week before. But even if Texas was to lose this game to Ohio State, the next time they play them, it would be at a neutral site. It wouldn't be at Ohio State, and I think that'd be a big advantage. But I think Texas is probably the stronger team. And when I look at Texas, they have my number 1 rated defense. Ohio State lost a ton of talent off the defense. I rate them number 8. They're still very talented. They're not going to have the kind of drop-off Michigan did last year. Remember, Michigan lost like 14, 15 draft picks last year, and all of a sudden they're 6-5 at the end of the year and a 3-touchdown underdog going into Ohio State with the chance of a losing season. Now, Ohio State's not going to have that type of drop-off, just way too much talent. But I do think Texas is the better overall team. Manning is a little bit more of a veteran quarterback than Julian saying, and I do think they're capable of pulling out that one on the road. I see the Longhorns winning a close one.
A&M hasn't won on the road against a top 25 team in a long time. I think it's 2014 the last time they did that. You mentioned them being underdogs in those 3 big ones. So of those 3, which do you think is the most winnable right now?
I'm going to go with the LSU game on October the 25th. I think that's a matchup where they beat LSU last year. So the confidence level, and that would probably be, of the three, that's the one I think they have the best shot at. When you look at LSU, their question marks would probably be the offensive line and defensive line, which we lost a lot. If A&M has the line of scrimmage advantage in the game, and they get as mentioned, a lot's depending on what Marcel Reed does this year. But I think that of the three, that's the one I would give them the best shot at winning.
Okay, which sounds to me you're pretty high on Notre Dame this year, even with some new pieces on the defense. Just break down Notre Dame for us.
Yeah, Notre Dame is loaded, and their big question mark naturally is the quarterback position, but that's with a lot of the top contenders this year. But you look at their offensive line, the overall defense, they are loaded. All of them are my top units. I rated them the number 3 defense in the country coming in, and they've got my number 3 rated offensive line, number 14 set of receivers, number 2 running backs. I mean, the Love-Price combo is outstanding. I love the fact that Notre Dame got the playoff experience last year, getting all the way to the national title game, and that title game probably would have been different had they not lost their top defensive lineman and top offensive lineman to injury prior to the game. So I think they're a loaded team. I do think C.J. Carr is going to do well at the quarterback position, and they get that game at home. We saw them come into College Station, a very tough place to win. It was a great game last year, a lot closer than the final score would indicate. I mean, that thing was anybody's game in the fourth quarter, but I do think Notre Dame having that game at home is a big advantage.
Phil, talk to us about South Carolina. Before I want to talk about your preview magazine, but just talk to us about South Carolina, a team that a lot of folks are high on. They beat A&M's butts last year when Le'Veon got hurt. That defense was fantastic. The defense will look different. Some new pieces around Lenora Sellers. How do you feel about them this year?
Well, I think South Carolina is a really good team. I had South Carolina rated higher than everybody else last year, and I thought they probably deserved to be in the playoff. I was a little disappointed they lost the bowl game to Illinois. They have Lenora Sellers. They have Superman back at quarterback. They're in great shape there. But I guess that my question would be the defensive front seven. And, I'm on the Joe Moore Award Committee, and when we were doing one of our conference calls last year, somebody brought up how somebody once team's offensive line struggled against South Carolina. Another guy brings up everybody's offensive line struggles against South Carolina. It's one of the best defenses out there, and they were. Their defensive front seven is absolutely dominant. And while they returned Dylan Stewart this year, the bulk of that defensive front seven's gone. So now defenses can focus on Dylan Stewart, whereas last year he was just one of many outstanding defensive linemen. So I don't think they're going to be as dominant on the defensive front as they were last year. Offensive line, they only have 2 starters back. They do have Superman back. I think they'll be strong, but then you look at their schedule. They have to play LSU on the road, Ole Miss on the road, A&M on the road, and then you have home games against Alabama, Oklahoma, a team I'm very high on, Clemson, and that doesn't even include Virginia Tech in the opener. So I have South Carolina picked a little lower than everybody else just because of the defensive front seven attrition and a very tough schedule. I rate it the 4th toughest schedule in the country.
Phil, talk to us about the 2025 college football preview, where people can get it and what they can expect from it.
Well, it's 360 pages, so it's a heavy book. If you go to the bookstore and get it at Barnes & Noble or Books A Million, you'll feel the weight of it, and then open it up. It's got 2 full pages on all 136 teams. It's like getting 136 media guides rolled into one. Now, it's exclusively, don't waste your gas money looking for it, Barnes & Noble and Books A Million are the only 2 locations to get it, and they usually start selling out in August, so make sure you get there now. It's something you'll use all season long. If you don't get to the bookstore and get it, you can go online to philsteele.com, and at philsteele.com, if you order it there, the hard copy, I'm going to charge you a shipping charge. It costs to ship things, but I give you the digital magazine for free, and the digital magazine's actually updated all the way through the start of September. So Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, philsteele.com. But once you get one of these in your hands, you'll be getting it every single year, and you're going to use it all football season long.
Phil, this was fantastic, man. Thanks for making time as you always do. Let's catch up during the season.
Hey, sounds good. A lot of fun talking football with you today.
Thank you so much. Phil Steele on the Puppies Catering Hotline. Appreciate his time. Check out that magazine. It's been a staple in my reading every offseason and beginning of the season, I should say. We'll hit a break here. We'll come back. I got to talk about Phil thinking LSU is the most winnable of the 3. I got to weigh in on that. I'm sure Kaylee Dreyer's got some stuff for us at the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Rollo Insurance Group, you get a personal agent with a direct number, which is awesome. Not some call center, and you got to press 0 and 0 again, and it starts all over. and then you finally get to somebody, but they're like in a different country, and there's like an echo, and there's the delay. You start talking, they talk over you. The whole thing sucks, right? You don't want to do that with anything in life. You want to call somebody directly, right? And that's what you get at Rollo Insurance. The difference is real. They have 60 offices across Texas, but they're all over the place. You know that about Rollo Insurance. You can find them everywhere. Whether it's home, auto, business, or ranch insurance, start a relationship with experts who put you first. Your agent becomes familiar with your specific situation, providing a customized protection plan that mass market insurers simply cannot match. You got to check out the website to get more information. If you need advice or have a claim, you'll speak directly with someone who knows you by name. That is the Rollo difference. Check out the website, rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs. That is rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs. Call them up, 888-44-ROLLO. That's 888-44-ROLLO. All right, guys, let's talk about some new partners, Aggieland Hydration and Injectables. They're Aggie owned and operated. They are an mobile IV hydration company that was founded back in 2024. I met with Sheldon and Danny over the last week, and they're awesome people. They really know what they're doing. They're proud to serve Bryan College Station with awesome services like IV hydration, Botox, and even some weight loss options. Whether you're looking for a quick boost of hydration or dehydration preventative, they can tailor an IV cocktail specific to your needs. And on a busy weekend, I know some of you guys might be partying a little bit too much. If that's the case, an IV can be one of the easiest ways to ensure you're receiving all those necessary vitamins and minerals to make you feel better. Their overall mission is to bring a more personalized and accessible wellness option to the broader range of clientele here in the Bryan College Station and Brazos Valley area. To book an appointment or inquire about it, just call them up or text them, 979-217-1561. Again, it's Aggieland Hydration and Injectables. Check them out. It's our friends at Aggieland Hydration and Injectables. I'm right and you're wrong. That's basically the segment. I mean, do we even need to get into it? It's TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Look, a year ago, pretend like it's today, using a lot of hand movements, I thought that the Notre Dame offensive line was going to get roasted by the Texas A&M defensive line. Okay? That was not the case. I gave my reasons. I was way wrong. Okay? I gave my reasons. My reasons were they're new. They don't know what they're doing. They're 9 years old. And we've got 32-year-old men coming after them. That was my reason behind it. Okay? And I did not account for, and Riley Leonard, new system, new quarter, like it's going to take time. Week 1, forget about it. And that was not the case. Okay? Riley Leonard held the ball for like 2.2 seconds and threw it. Didn't allow that. The offensive line was really good. The running game was fantastic. Okay, you got me, right? So I was wrong. This year, I'm right. Okay? Phil Steele says the most winnable of the 3 games is LSU. Maybe when we get it mid-season, I'll change my mind. But today, okay, the information that we have today, it is Notre Dame, and there's no doubt about it in my mind. But I'm going to allow the panel of Nick and Kaylee Dreyer, because Kaylee's got opinions, to give me their who and the why. Jake's got opinions too. He looked at me crazy in the background like, what are you talking about? So Nick Savage, I'm going to let you go second because ladies first. Kaylee Dreyer, hardest game is?
Hardest game, I think.
Most winnable game.
I think our most winnable road game is Notre Dame.
Of the 3.
As you said.
Why?
Well, for one, they're losing Riley Leonard.
Okay.
And I think last year's game could have been won. Connor wasn't at his best.
Yep.
And our whole team wasn't at their best.
Yep.
They also lost Jack Kaiser, the 6th-year linebacker.
He's with the Jacksonville Jags now, I think.
And they lost
4.
also many of their offensive linemen and defensive linemen. So they have a lot of replacements. And
I think they returned 3 starters on the O-line. I could be wrong. There might be somebody that's hurt. But I like your thinking. You're more aligned with me. Nick Savage, you are on team Phil Steele.
Yeah, I agree with what he had to say about LSU probably being the most winnable road game. We were actually having that discussion back here, and Cade said, we never win on the road at LSU. And I argued back and said, well, Mike Elko's never been to Death Valley with, as the head coach of A&M. So to me, he seems like he's able to get his guys not to worry too much about road environment. South Carolina, obviously, last year was probably the most hostile one they walked into. And they were in that game at halftime, but it slipped away from them late. But I guess I just have to I'm not super duper high on Nuss because I still think he's too reckless sometimes, and I got to see if all the portal additions and on the defensive side for them actually pan out. I know they got some guys that A&M was in the market for, and especially some wide receivers too. They're always scary on offense, right? They've always been scary on offense, so that's probably still going to be the case. But I think going to Notre Dame, who are just in the national championship, that's tough. It's a big non-conference game. Not saying they can't do it, but it's going to be a tough one. And then at the end of the year, going back to Austin for the first time in forever, I would actually argue that the toughest road environment is LSU out of those 3 games. But I still think just quality of team, I think LSU is the most winnable.
Okay. I like your reasoning, but I'm going to tell you my why. And I think I've said it before, so I apologize for those of you who have heard it. Why number 1, early in the season, right? CJ Carr is trying to figure out how to be a quarterback in big-time college football, right? This is year 2 of Coach Elko, not year 1. Year 1, a lot of growing, or figuring things out. Year 2, they've grown, they understand, they conquer. So that's my first thing. CJ Carr, it'll be his 2nd collegiate start. Now, I don't love the fact that he gets Miami week 1, because I think he's going to see some bullets, and we're going to find out what kind of level of quarterback he is. He might be fantastic. What I worry about is stopping that running game because, A&M's got a great running game, but Jeremiah Love is just an animal and at home at night, so I do worry about that. But defense has got some holes that they're still going to be a top 10 defense. They're going to be great, Marcus Freeman, but I know that Freeman has struggled early on in his career in early game seasons, right? Early season games. He's had some losses early on. So I think they're vulnerable there. I think that LSU is the hardest because of history. Nick, when's the last time A&M won at LSU? At Baton Rouge?
Shoot, I don't know. I know you know the year, but
I do.
It's been a while.
Okay. This is going to make me feel really old. I was in high school the last time that A&M won. Yes. All right. OB was 70. No, I'm kidding. It was 1994, the last time A&M won at Baton Rouge. So I just don't like the chances.
Yeah, literally everybody in this room right now and Kaylee Dreyer, not alive at that point.
No. But I was driving. I was picking A&M as the school I was going to go to. So yeah, that tells you how long ago it was. It's going to come to an end, right? It's going to, in my lifetime. And hopefully it's this year. But that's why. And then I got to bring this up before we hit a break. I said this exact thing on that SEC podcast with Cousin Shane and SEC Mike. I said the exact same thing. And interestingly, Texas fans got mad at me because I said that Texas was the second hardest or second easiest of the three. And I also said that Texas is the best roster A&M will face. I'm sorry that hurts your feelings. Like, people were genuinely upset with me. Like, how dare you? We went into Kyle Field and won by 10, double digits. You guys didn't score an offensive touchdown. Thanks for the history lesson. I did not see the game. It's not, opinions shouldn't be taken as disrespect, right? Everyone's wrong. And guess what? Everyone's right. We all match it up like sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong. My thinking behind it is rivalry matchups. Sometimes rivalry matchups are exactly that. You get just a slugfest. To me, the fact that A&M was within a chance to tie, had they been able to take care of the situation, they would have been in position to tie or take the lead, right? They were down 17-7. They had a 4th and 1, kicked the field goal. They were a touchdown away, scored a touchdown, but they didn't, right? Props to Texas's defense, which again is going to be great. They're going to be great. I get it. They have, 3 guys with 8 sacks on their roster from last year? They're going to be awesome. But I just think going to Death Valley is harder than going to Austin. Would I be surprised if A&M goes to Baton Rouge and wins? No, because
I would say 99% of the country would agree with what you just said.
Right? Like, sorry, it's different. And look, I'm not saying that A&M is Georgia of last year. I'm not saying that at all. But Georgia went to Texas and won that game and had a convincing first half. It did get interesting in the second half. So it doesn't really matter what somebody's opinion of who's harder, who's not. I'm looking at the Notre Dame game as an early game in the season that hopefully they're vulnerable and A&M's a little bit more seasoned. Some of that's a hope. Some of that is based on reality. I think Texas at the end of the year, they might be at their best. They might have some, warts because of what the season does to them, right? That is all possible. LSU in the middle of the year, the series, the last since 2018 has gone back and forth every year, right? Home team wins. So I just think that's the harder game. I'm not predicting A&M to go, I don't know what I'm predicting. I'm not going to predict until I get there. Like, hey, give me what do you think? They go 10-2? They go 7-5? I don't know. Let's go week to week. I'm doing that voice that Billy hates. Where I'm arguing with myself and I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I do know. I do know if you're looking for a job with the Association of Former Students, they got some opportunities. I don't know if currently at this moment they do. Better be checking the website a lot because they do have openings from time to time. Fundraising, communications, marketing, sales. They're awesome. If you're trying to move back to Aggie land, that's a great place to start your job search because they typically have those openings. And they're the premier alumni association and the oldest organization supporting Texas A&M in part of that Aggie network. They play a part in every Aggie story from howdy to here. Don't miss opportunities to help out the association with awesome events held throughout the year like Aggie Ring Day, Aggie Muster, and everything in between. Join a team that exemplifies those Aggie core values of excellence, integrity, leadership, loyalty, respect, and selfless service, all in support of the worldwide Aggie network. So if you're interested in joining the team or sharing with someone who would be a great fit, please visit tx.ag/association jobs to apply and get more information on each position. It is the Association
of former students. I wish I had Olin here for it because he loves energy drinks. Catalyst Citrus Spark. This is one of the new flavors out there. Whether you're grinding through workouts, cramming for a test, or closing in on a deal, or getting ready for TexAgs Live, you never know, right? Fast becoming the go-to fuel for Aggies everywhere. Zero sugar. I'm all in for that. Or synthetic sweeteners, no artificial colors or flavors. Catalyst delivers clean, high-performance energy with smooth, crisp taste that is never syrupy, designed for both health and hustle. You want to get going, you use this Catalyst right here. It's about pure energy and pure results. And what sets them apart? Packed with premium nootropics blended to boost focus, clarity, and mental stamina. I need this. I'm in, guys. I'm in. Plus, with plant-based caffeine, vitamin B12, B6, Catalyst supports metabolism and energy production, making it more than a drink. It's your lifestyle training partner. Built for competitors on the field, Catalyst fuels strength, focus, and pure results. Buy now at drinkcatalyst.com. That is drinkcatalyst.com. Train harder, think sharper, pure results. It's Catalyst. So that stat I gave was probably a little deceiving. Apologies. Jack brought to my attention. They haven't played in Baton Rouge A&M that many times other than the SEC, right? So I think from 1994, where they did win 18-13 against LSU, They've played in 2011 in Arlington. They played in College Station, and then they started. So since A&M's been in the SEC, it's gone. They haven't won in Baton Rouge. Let's go to the Buppy's Catering Hotline, joined by our friend Aaron Torres. Aaron Torres online in Fox Sports Radio. Aaron, good morning, my friend. How are you today?
Nuño, I'm good, brother. How you doing, man? Everything good?
Everything's great. By the way, this is Around College Football, brought to you by Milliken Reserve, a College Station community featuring homes, shells, farms, and wide open spaces with a mission to build a healthy community around nature. Take part in the Milliken Reserve community with a Conservancy membership. Learn more, millikenreserve.com. AT, I'm going to start things off because I'm going to give you some feedback, okay?
Uh-oh.
No, this is nothing. This
sounds like I'm going to the principal's office.
No,
Okay.
no. This is all love from me. Somebody posted on the message boards last week that we had an awkward interview last week, and I was like, why? Because we went back and forth about Ryan Fowler. So I just want to let you know that I appreciate your insight, your friendship, and your college football acumen.
Well, first of all, you guys have an incredible community that you've built, and I love that I'm even relevant enough to be on the message boards. So, David, a lot of sarcasm between the two of us. I consider you a friend. Listen, we're guys, right? What is the ultimate compliment one guy can give each other? It's that you can bust each other's, you can bust each other's chops. And so there is, at least on my end, I can't speak for you, but zero ill will. And by the way, I don't even think I said this the other day. I completely understand you needing to prioritize guests in person at the SEC Media Days. You have access to so many great people from across this sport. And so anytime that I'm joking about, Joe Sankey over Torres, what are you doing? I would make the same decision that TexAgs and you have as well. So a lot of sarcasm, zero ill will on my end. Maybe it came off as awkward. But I'm just ready to talk ball, man, and I love coming on, and it really is something I enjoy doing every week, and I always appreciate you having me.
Talking to Aaron Torres on the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. AT, so we had Phil Steele on the show earlier. He talked about LSU being the most winnable of those 3 hard road games for A&M, and it's been a topic I brought up a couple different times in the offseason. I just get your thoughts on these 3 tough road games. I'll break them down for you. Early on, you got Notre Dame on the road. You've got LSU, and you got Texas to close out the year. So just from those 3, if you're to say, this is the ranking order of, I think, the most winnable ones, how would they go?
Yeah, first of all, very aware of those 3 road games because, obviously, especially coming out of SEC Media Day, see how many people are excited about that team. And it's just, I think everything in the SEC going forward is all about schedule. Manageable, as crazy as it sounds by SEC standards. I think it raises the question about out-of-conference games and the value they have. But I think I would agree with Phil Steele. And, I forget if we've talked about this, David, because this has been a pretty consistent take of mine. I don't get the Garrett Nussmeier hype. I don't. And not only do I not get the Garrett Nussmeier hype, I think they're losing to Clemson in week 1. I think the NFL fan that's tuning in Saturday looking for the number 1 overall pick in Garrett Nussmeier is going to see the potential number 1 overall pick. He's just going to be wearing white and orange and Cade Klubnik. And so I'm not high on LSU. I guess in theory I get the hype, but I think we did talk about this. Even if you like Garrett Nussmeier, basically an entirely new O-line, basically an entirely new wide receiver core, and not to say that there isn't talent in those spots, but I'm just not as high on them as everybody else. And so by default, that means that I would say that in theory, that is the easiest game. Of course, as you mentioned, it is just so tough to win in that building, in that venue.
All right. So this is Nick agrees with you, by the way. He said LSU.
Nick's a smart man.
So my reasoning for Notre Dame of the 3 was I think LSU has the most inferior roster of the 3 based on the intel we have right now of the 3 teams I just mentioned. But I think Notre Dame having a new quarterback early on in the season, some new pieces on defense, and some new pieces on the offensive line, I think it makes them vulnerable early on for Marcus Freeman. That was my thinking behind it. I don't think and the fact that A&M hasn't won there since they've been in the SEC and since 1994. So that's my reasoning behind it. But I'm with you on, I have a lot of questions about LSU. If they are as good as Brian Kelly says, then yeah, they're going to be competing for a playoff spot and maybe more. But I think they're vulnerable. But Texas has some vulnerabilities as well. They got to prove it with the new players on offense, and I think that Notre Dame obviously has to prove it. So there isn't a wrong answer in it. They're all very hard road games, right?
1,000%. The in theory, the opposite, the same. Not the same argument, but a similar argument could be made for Texas, right? You're coming into the season. Some sports books have you as the national championship favorite. When I say this, I mean, the possibility of Notre Dame in theory being the easiest, of the three. It could be the same with Texas as well. You come in as a preseason team that people think, sportsbooks thinks are maybe the national championship favorite. What if Arch isn't as good? What if they're, last year it was a de facto kind of pseudo playoff game. What if it's once again where A&M has maybe exceeded expectations? Maybe they are 9-2 needing to win that game. Maybe Texas is a little bit down, and then all of a sudden you can look at that from the inverse as well. I think, I wouldn't say I'm down on Texas, but I do think there are probably more questions specifically at the quarterback spot than people realize. I just think that's an interesting way to look at it as well. And I think it's a great point by you. New quarterback for Notre Dame early in the season. How does he perform? I think the same can be true of Texas late in the year. Maybe things haven't gone as planned. Maybe you've taken a loss or two here or there. Maybe the Aggies are playing for a playoff berth. So these conversations are so fun to have, and I know we're so excited to just have games, but it is fun to have the hypothetical of how things are going to actually play out once the games start.
Talking to AT, Aaron Torres on TexAgs Live. AT, I've talked about every day this week since the Lagway news came out. I know that the reports out of Florida are, he's day-to-day, he's fine, yada, 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 right? But I'm sorry, man. Like, I look at that, A&M doesn't play them until October 11th, so he'll probably be, Superman by that point. That being said, I think that's got to be, it makes them not only vulnerable, it's got to be scary going into camp, your quarterback, who was your Superman in November of last year, to be banged up already.
Well, and, I haven't heard a lot of people make this argument, is that at this point, it's pretty indisputable that for all the talent, DJ Lagway is injury prone. Hamstring last year, by the way, didn't even really play until midseason, immediately gets a hamstring injury. I don't know how much this has been reported outside of Gainesville. I know but didn't throw for most of fall camp with an upper body injury. Now he's got this lower body injury. And I think the point that people I haven't heard make is I've heard a lot of, what's the timeline? When does he come back? You have 3 injuries in 12 months where you've basically played 3 or 4 games. Even if you come back, I don't think we can assume at this point that he is going to stay healthy. I mean, this isn't like suffered a hamstring injury and then re-aggravated. It's 3 very distinct injuries, 3 very different body parts. And listen, we can all say this. We all hope we're wrong on this. But at some point, until he proves otherwise, he's just injury prone. And so the part that I've heard is, they have kind of 2 manageable games to start the year. Can he be ready really when the schedule ramps up around week 3? I guess my question is, even if he is ready to go week 3, what makes us think that he's going to be able to consistently stay on the field? Again, it's obvious. We all know, nobody's rooting for injury, but I think it's a fair question to have at this point. And yeah, I saw that headline. I hope I'm wrong, but I think it's one of the X factors in all the SEC because I think we all know the talent that young man has.
I don't know if you saw this. This got to be the last one, AT, but there was Dan Wetzel suggested Ohio State takes their rivalry with Michigan too seriously. And I'm just going to use that line as a talking point before we hit a break. And I hope every rivalry is taken too seriously because that's what makes college football so great, right? You could have they won a national championship. I'm sure they will take that over the loss to Michigan. But I know that loss to Michigan is probably 1B on their list of things that they think about.
I haven't seen that, and Dan Wetzel is literally one of the best in our business at what we do. But if that's the quote, and listen, if Dan Wetzel comes after me, I'm just going to say you misquoted him. But he's an idiot because you can't say that they take it too seriously because up until last year, The stakes were you lose that game, you're probably not playing for a national championship, and you were on a 3-game losing streak after winning whatever it was, 14 out of 15, whatever it was. So it's easy to say that now in a 12-team playoff era where one individual loss doesn't matter and you still manage to win the national championship. But to say that is silly to me. And then I would just add really quick, I do think, and I hate to say this, I think it does bring up the narrative of the value of rivalries and what they're really going to mean going forward in a 12-team playoff era. So we can get into it. I know we're kind of up against it, but it's easy to say that with the hindsight we have now. You could not say that on December 1st or whatever it was last year when Ohio State lost for a fourth straight years, not even winning the division, not playing for a conference championship. You can't say that. I'm sorry.
AT, as always, great stuff, buddy. Thanks so much.
All right, brothers. Great speaking. We'll talk soon. Hopefully this wasn't awkward for the audience. Just hoping.
Just an awkward ending. That's it.
Talk next week. Bye.
I have no idea what you just said. Bye. We'll hit a break. Bye. All right, we're talking about Burlebo, the heart of Texas, more than an outdoor lifestyle brand. Its products created with you in mind. Currently, I'm wearing the performance polo, the Texas Maroon and Gray. If you look into it, you've got the state of Texas in gray, and you also got it in maroon. It's one of their highest, most popular sales that they have there. It is really nice. Comfort and versatility. You can wear it in any situation. Quick drying, fits the size. But Burlebo, they're rooted in tradition, fueled by passion for the outdoors. Designs high-quality apparel that works just as hard as you do. So whether you're hitting a workout, enjoying a day of fishing, or cheering on your favorite college team, their gear is made for the athlete, the outdoorsman, and the everyday adventure. And it's really nice. I wore this one to church the other day. People talked about it. Really, my kids were like, "Yeah, Dad, you look pretty good today." From athletic shorts to your favorite go-to tees and performance hoodies, they have everything you want. Check out burlebo.com and find your new favorite gear. It's Burlebo for the athlete, for the outdoors, and for the family. Time to end the day with Double Daves. As a reminder, the final segment of the program is in about an hour. That's at 10:50. But right now, caller number 12, 979-693-1150. We're going to hook you up with your choice of a dozen pepperoni rolls or a large one-topping pizza from Double Daves. They've been serving Aggie Land since 1984 with your favorite pizza and, of course, those world-famous pepperoni rolls. Reliable in-house delivery, bringing piping hot goodness straight to your door. Just click on doubledaves.com and your favorites are on their way. I do want to pay off that tease from earlier, the Dan Wetzel commentary, what he said basically of talking about Ohio State taking this rivalry too hard. I think often the number of people who called into various radio shows immediately after the Michigan game and prior to the first playoff game against Tennessee called and said, I don't care about the playoff. I don't care if we win the national championship. I would rather go 1-11 and beat that school up north. Dude, I'm just going to guess. Nick, tell me if you agree. Dan Wetzel did not spend time listening to sports radio in various markets to hear what they're saying. I don't believe if one or two crazy people said that, it is not indicative of an entire fan base.
For sure. 100%.
He's very good, by the way. I hosted a show with him and Pat Forty at Yahoo Sports Radio. Hope he doesn't hate me and comes on the show. We'll hit a break. Little League World Series on the other side. TexAgs Live. And we are back here on TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. Let's go to the Buppies Bartending and Catering Hotline. We're going to talk to Andy McRae, a proud Texas A&M alum. also a TexAgger, led Needville Little League World Series, the Little League team to the World Series back in 2023, and now they're going back to it, a 13-2 victory over Texas West. 9 veterans returning on the team, bunch of Aggies all over it. We talked to Andy here on the program. Andy, what's up, man?
How you doing today?
Doing great, man. Thanks for joining us. So I'm sorry for not being well-versed in Little League, like geography. Explain to me where you all are playing, because at this age, it kind of changes, correct?
Right. The 12-year-old division, what we played in 2023, it's kind of it's really the mecca of Little League, right? It's on ESPN, it's on ABC, it's in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. This is the juniors division, so it's 2 years removed. It's the first age kind of teenage division, and it's in Taylor, Michigan. I'd say, the participation isn't quite what it is at 2023, but we get to play on ESPN again and do some really cool stuff. And so,
how cool is it? Because a lot of times these teams, they kind of disintegrate, right? They don't continue on, and you're back at it with most of that team in order.
Yeah, it's really neat. It's kind of the juniors division, to me, seems to become a little bit more of a small time thing, and the international is really big still. In the U.S., a lot of kids go out and play travel ball. Our boys do too. Don't kid yourself. We're not a rec team that runs around playing all the time and getting to the level we do. We play travel ball, but we come back together in the summer, because we haven't really, as you get into high school, you start playing travel ball in the summer. We're not there yet. So we come back together as kind of a community-based thing. That the town loves it, and it's been really successful. And we spend a couple of months playing together, and it's just been a great time. So
I get to actually catch up with you guys because a mutual friend of ours, Greg Hodges, posts everything about Needville, and he was so excited to see you guys back. And he's a proud Texas fan who listens to TexAgs more than the Texas shows. So sorry, Greg, just telling the world how it works. Talk to me about the Aggie connections on this team, because there are some Aggie connections.
Yeah, no, listen, we're in Needville, Texas, and as you go back, Greg and them are the few Longhorn fans running around town, right? Most of us are A&M fans. We're from the small town, and they're definitely. I graduated from Texas A&M. There are other kids. Most of the kids root for A&M, and maybe because I've convinced them over the 10 years I've coached them that it's a better place, and I love the school, and I'm big, like you said, big TexAgger myself. I've been on it forever. So I think like 2000, probably something like that. It's been a long time whenever it kind of came around. So it's been a lot of fun over the years, but a huge connection to Texas A&M for sure. Yeah.
At what point did you know this team had a chance to kind of do what you have done before, right? Like that you could get to this point?
I honestly, right away, right? I think part of the reason we were, I'll be honest, we were kind of done after 12. We had a great experience, and we're like, man, this has been wonderful. But the boys kind of approached us and wanted to come back. We lost in the U.S. championship to California, and they didn't really. I don't think they liked that very much. And it's not the exact same thing, but to them, it means something to come back and try to finish it. And so they approached us, and look, we knew we had a shot. We have a good team. We didn't finish second in the U.S. for no reason, and they've continued to work. It's not like they let off. So it's been kind of this time around has been much more kid driven than it has been parent driven, which has been really nice to see. So,
what made you want to do it again? It's a big commitment. I know you love it, but I'm sure you look at your schedule, you look at all the commitment to it, and you're like, all right, let's go do it again, guys.
Yeah, I think it is a commitment, right? It's a commitment when you're coming off of playing spring baseball to say, hey, let's go for a couple of more months and do this. Again, it was the parents are all in, right? They usually are, but it was the kids, and they just wanted to do it. And I don't know why they wanted to do it. We've asked them. I think it really has to do with they want to win. They want to win it, the World Series. And maybe it's not the 12-year-old, but it's the next best thing to it. And let's finish what we started. It's really the last year. And I think that's what led to it. It is a commitment of time, but you only have so many years that your children play these sports, and you make time for it.
Andy, I'm in the travel soccer world, and I know how expensive that can be and how unpredictable it can be. I imagine these parents are like, another plane trip next week too? Have you guys done some fundraising? How have you all made it work?
So, yeah, no, luckily some of the early stuff is local, right? But we just got back from Albuquerque, New Mexico a couple of weeks ago. about 10 days ago. And now we're heading off to Michigan tomorrow. Yes, we do some fundraising. And if anybody certainly wants to help out, we're doing a raffle on our Little League Facebook page that I'll plug for you. And it got some great prizes. Definitely would love to have some love from TexAgs from the community. But yeah, I think that there is some fundraising that goes on, but it's also a commitment from the parents. They knew going into it that, hey, it's an expensive summer, and at the end of the day, we do some things like that to try to help. The league helps out. But you're also gonna, you got to pay to play at times too. So it kind of falls into that category.
And yeah, I assume a bunch of the families are watching or will watch later. So tell us some of the names that we need to know about.
Oh, we got a great, you want me to run through it? Can I run through them all?
Sure, you do.
Yeah. Because I don't want to leave anybody out, right? So, obviously most folks were called DJ Jablonski. He was kind of our left-handed, had the long hair, was our left-handed pitcher. He's still on the team. He's our leadoff hitter and still pitching and doing a great job. My son Jagger was another long, they were all long-haired kids back then. They've actually cut their hair. I guess they have grown a little bit. So he's actually, he's playing really well. He's DHing for us this summer. He's a little injured, so he hasn't been able to throw, but he's hitting and doing a really good job. Then we still have the Easton Binge. He does a great job as our shortstop and catcher and pitcher. And then we've had some kids grow. Like we've had some kids really step up. Jason Risby and the 9-year-old was kind of our 10-hole hitter, was a little bit out of shape, but now he's 6'1" and is grown and is like this big kid. He's kind of hitting 4-hole. We have a new addition to our team, Brylan Williams, who's done a great job, kind of stepped in and become our starting catcher. He's only a 13-year-old, so this is a 13 and 14-year-old division. So he's kind of stepped up and really, really helped us out a ton. Let's see, I'm trying to go kind of batting order so I don't forget anybody, right? And so we have Diego Ramos, who's also another guy who is new to the team and really has hit wonderfully. It started in center field. So it's been this kind of transition, right? There's been 3 or 4 spots that have changed, but they've also done a really good job of checking in. And then we've had the other kids, Cade Hammonds, Jacoby White, Colton Georgi, one of our left-handed pitchers. So all these boys. Cash Roberson is another kid who's really, I'll give him credit. He's been a hitter on our team, doesn't play a lot of defense and just loves it and loves being out there. He's a new addition to the team and he's a team guy, right? He's out there and he's not getting all the playing time he wants, but he pitches for us and he does a wonderful job hitting. So it's really come together and been a really great experience, right? And it's different, but really fun. So.
Andy, help me understand, so what's the path look like? You take on a team from Michigan, right? But how does it kind of play out? How many games potentially could you have until you win it all?
So the funny thing is when 2023, when we played, we opened with the, quote, closest host team. It was a Philadelphia team. Well, this time somehow we draw the Michigan team too, right? So we open against Michigan, and if we win that, we play this team from the Southeast, which will be Georgia. They always have very strong, baseball teams, as we all know from SEC baseball. And then after that, it's 5 games in basically 10 days. So it runs together, and it'll put our pitching in trouble. And at the end, hopefully, you almost always play Chinese Taipei in this. They've won it, I think, 5 out of the last 6 years. So it might be another team. Don't know those guys, but that's how it shakes out. It's August 3rd through the 11th.
Okay.
So,
you having fun doing it?
Oh, I love it. It's my last 4 games I'm ever going to coach. I'm turning my son over to part of Broniger's deal, the 12th. So he'll play out of the KD12, and so I'm done. I'm officially going to call it a day, and I'm excited to do that and just watch too. So.
Andy, I'll close out with this. Just some thoughts on Aggie athletics. Football's about to start. You mentioned you're on TexAgs a lot. Baseball didn't have the season we expected, but we expect big things. Just any thoughts on A&M athletics?
Oh, I think, listen, I love where they're going. I think the recruiting class for next year is really good. I think that this year, I'm looking for some surprises. I think sometimes I've been an A&M fan since my first game was 94. Leland McElroy ran back kickoff against LSU, and I've loved A&M football ever since I was a junior in high school. And I think they always surprise me when I expect them to not surprise me, and that's the feeling I have this year, And so I really do think they're going to do it. I really think they'll be 9-3, 10-2. Baseball's going the right direction, I feel like, after the bad, kind of year. But we've got some really good players. And I love the basketball program with the Bucky McMillan. I love A&M sports. That's what I do. Baseball and A&M sports. So.
Andy, man, we appreciate it. Best of luck. Hope those guys win it for you and for them. And we'll be monitoring, and we'll get you back in here when you win it all.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. I really enjoy it.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Good luck to you. Andy McRae here on TexAgs Live. We'll hit a break. When we come back on the other side, the fan show, guys. The entire trio that usually does football season will be here. That means Hunter Shurtleff, Matt Browning, and Roy May. All right, Ground Shuttle, they offer frequent and reliable shuttles from BCS to George Bush Intercontinental Airport. So like these Little League families, when they're traveling, they should use Ground Shuttle. Well, if they were in the Bryan-College Station area, Needville doesn't have it. But that being said, from here to there, they'll do all the driving for you, right? They've got 9 shuttle times on the week days, every hour and a half, 5 shuttle times on the weekends. And they also offer charter service. So you want to go anywhere in Texas, they'll take care of you. They've got in and out of town travel, door-to-door service, hassle-free to get your group. Shuttle services seat up to 14 passengers. They're local, and they are fantastic. They do it all for you. Check out the website, groundshuttle.com. That is groundshuttle.com, or call them up, 855-303-4415. 855-303-4415. Ground Shuttle. Let them do the driving. Missed it. And we're back. TexAgs Live. It must be football season because the Fan Show has Hunter Shirtliff back.
Hunter Shirtliff's here.
What is up, brother?
I take a little time out during the spring. Everybody asked me, "You're not doing the show anymore?"
You did
I go,
one.
No.
Or
Nuño fired me.
I did.
Getting the gang back together, man.
Roy May, hello.
Good morning.
Matt Browning, hello.
What's up, brother? How are you,
guys?
man? Good. Doing great.
A little different energy now that practice has started. I feel like people are excited. Am I right?
Well, yeah, it's like officially back now. I mean, media days, that's okay. But when they start practicing, it's football season.
I feel like media days that's when you go, okay, we're getting close.
Yeah.
Right? Because like you said, like media days don't count, man. Like media days, it's the penultimate, like it's the climax of talking season. Like SEC Media Days is the last time that a bunch of people are going to sit in rooms and talk about things that they have no idea about. It's all conjecturing.
I think I have a lot of ideas about a lot of things.
It's all ideas, but we know nothing.
I feel like Roy's been reading the dictionary or listening to too much Jim Gray, one of the two.
No, I just have a vocabulary, Matt.
Hey, man, it's impressive. I'm impressed by it. That was cool.
I said penultimate. His eyes lit up. He's like, spell it.
Look at him. Yeah,
Can you spell it, by the way?
Yeah, I can.
Do you want to try?
I can.
Penulmi. Let's see. Penultimate. Yeah.
It's fine.
Penultimate.
That's what I call a $5 lawyer word right there.
Right? Let's go to the.
I should sit second chair with you. I watch a lot of Law and Order. I should sit second chair with you.
Let's go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Kaylee Dreyer. Technically, I've already got us started, but why don't you get us started?
Who wants to start?
Let's go with Hunter. He hasn't been here.
Hunter, what's on your
19
mind?
months.
Well, hello.
We're not going to steal you. We're not going to steal the.
That's all right. So it's football season. So what's on my mind? A little bit on the schedule, right?
Okay.
I've seen a few folks, like last year was like the ultimate home schedule. Like you're probably never going to have that again. Notre Dame, LSU, Texas all at home.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the year to have season tickets, and everybody's like, "Oh, we don't play anybody this year." Wow. I mean, I'm not going to be here to want to dog Auburn, like a storied SEC program. Florida,
yeah.
South Carolina's good now.
Yeah.
That's always a fun game. I mean, and the perspective is, right, I started going to A&M. We were playing, Baylor, U of H, Tech, and, SMU at home.
We're getting spoiled.
So, and we were begging for games like this. It was a big deal to open up against LSU every year and have them come, right? So it's either LSU at home or if you got the year they had the Texas game. So,
or like those kickoff championship games. Remember, like we played Florida State in New York City one time.
But it wasn't. But as a season ticket holder, I mean, that wasn't.
Yeah,
part
well,
of it.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, I'm down with the schedule. It's not laid out good. I mean, Sankey did us no favors, or whoever does the scheduling at the SEC.
Shocking.
Over a month,
away, yeah.
Like over a month, right? We don't play at Kyle Field.
That's right.
Yeah.
So
there it is.
just kind of early on, looking at the helmet schedule, kind of looking at that, you're like, I'm okay with the home schedule.
How quickly we've become, numb to it. Like, oh man, we only get like that. You nailed it, bro. Remember when TCU was like a big game and like we had to go down and play Rice? Like, come on, man. Like, it's Florida. Right?
That's true. That's a good point. It is. You think about you got Auburn and Florida on your schedule.
And you're like,
I mean, and we used to pack Kyle Field for Tech and Iowa State and
Battle of the
Baylor.
Brazos.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Baylor. Yeah, that's a good point.
We've run up a little bit.
We've gotten spoiled. We're getting spoiled. That's true. So,
Roy, what's on your mind?
Well, what's on my mind is that Hunter Shirtliff is back. I mean, that does it for me.
No visor, by the way.
I know, a little weird.
It'll come.
Football season. It was like games.
Trimmed up a little bit, no visor.
Dirty.
He's working his way in. It's still camp, right?
Yeah.
We're still in camp. My big thing is just, and obviously, we're one day in, and this kind of goes back to a little bit of quote unquote talking, but just how loose the press conferences seem to be. The clips that we do get to see, everybody feels loose. I thought Marcel just making the joke about saying I'm not a passer, and I expect. It's funny because I think we were talking about this last week. You're just as down as you've been since you can remember, since like 2011 or something like that. And I'm kind of the Maroon Kool-Aid starting to flow a little bit. The more I look at these position groups and the more I hear outside analysts, national analysts come on the show and you talk to them, you interview them, the more bullish I become on this team. And not that I'm sitting here saying we're going to go undefeated and win the national championship kind of thing, but
But we are.
Well, obviously. Currently we have no losses. Top of the SEC. But it's just I'm getting a little bit more bullish, and it's not just because of me being maroon-blooded kind of thing. It's when I hear outside national analysts speak highly of position groups, and a lot of times in the past they say, yeah, it looks like you guys' running back room is going to be really good, or they'd say, hey, it looks like you guys' defensive line is going to be really good. And that's kind of where the conversation stopped. But now they're like, yeah, O-line, D-line, running back. So when you start putting together all these position groups that outside analysts are ranking highly nationally, you start to realize you really do have a team. Are there question marks? Of course, right? We get that. You can question anything, really, outside of our running back room. I don't think you can really question that. And maybe the offensive line too. But you start listening to these analysts talk, and when they talk about some of our opponents, like Phil Steele was doing this morning, he says, well, they got problems. I see some holes on offensive line and defensive line. Bro, this entire game, no matter what conference you're in, is run in the trenches. That's it. Whether you're a passing team, you got to pass block. If you're a running team, you got to run block. And if you're on defense, you got to you got to tackle, you got to contain the quarterback. It's all, you got to get to the quarterback in the passing game. And so these teams he talks about that he sees holes in the lines, but when, they talk about our offensive and defensive lines, the defensive line is obviously where there's still questions. I think that's completely fair.
Yep.
Just because of what we lost. But there's a lot to be excited about, and it's really more from trying to be the 10,000 feet up kind of view, hearing other people be high on us, which normally they're not.
Yeah, Mr. Browning.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Hey guys, how is everybody?
What did you watch? I don't feel like I remember this one.
No, I've had it for a minute. So, what's on my mind is the same thing as everybody. I mean, it's camp. Okay. Camp time. So like you're not joking. When it hits, it's like, all right, football's here. It's time. They're up there. They're right across the street right now, hitting pads. It's. I feel bad that if they're outside because it's freaking hot out there right now. It's been brutal the last few days. So luckily they got that nice, pretty indoor area. So
they practiced late last night. When I say late, 6:45-ish.
Seems late for a practice.
Yeah. And it felt very comfortable tonight. Same time.
So they were outdoors.
I don't know what they're doing during the day.
I hope they're indoors.
It's been such a mild year, but like the last 2 days, it's just come on like a.
It's been brutal. You get up on top of some of those roofs too, and you're like, holy smoke! I'm like, man, I've been up here 30 seconds. I need to get down. So, but yeah, no, that's it. It's football season. That's it. It's when it is.
It's getting soft.
Oh yeah, of course. So that's what we're excited about now. Now my focus has been taken.
Yeah. Let me ask the three of you, and I'm going to start with. I'll start with you.
Please, I got to make up for that. Roy just went on a rant, and I blundered the entire thing. So.
And then you got soft, and then
I'm soft now. Yeah.
Okay, let's stop.
Okay.
What keeps you up at night when it comes to A&M?
Oh Lord. Hey, really, truly, every year the expectations every year we're like, okay. I'm, the fan show. What a delight.
All right, Browning, what keeps you up at night about Aggie?
Up at night. Okay. What keeps me up at night is same. It varies from year to year, but I think I honestly, I feel like I've been somewhat going, I'm not real excited about this season. I've said that multiple times, I think. And I'm kind of doing that because I always know like when I'm down we do better. Yeah. But it's kind of like the last guy. The last guy you just had the coach, the baseball coach. Yeah. He said the exact same thing, which is kind of funny.
Andy McRae, yeah.
So, but Roy's right. When you look at these position groups, right? You look at them and you're going, okay, wait a second. Why am I down? Why am I not? We have probably one of the best running back rooms in the country. That's one we keep talking about. That's great. I think our secondary is one of the best in the SEC, if not the country. I think the question marks have been in other areas, but look at our quarterback room. To bring in a guy like Zeno, a old school, a seasoned, about as seasoned as you can get. What is he in his 9th season in football? To have him as your primary backup, and then you got a guy like Miles O'Neill who looks the part. Talent all behind sitting there behind Marcel, who can only get better, right? So the quarterback room looks better. You look at these other. So what keeps me up is just Aggie football.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm telling you straight up. I mean, Aggie football keeps me up at night.
Yeah. What's going to happen now?
How are we going to screw this up?
Yeah.
I mean, because that's what we've done the 46 years I've been on this planet. I mean, it's what's going to do. I don't know. Who knows? Some injury. Somebody's going to, some stupid referee call. I don't know. I'm in a bad place now.
Hunter, what keeps you up at night?
Initially, until he started talking, I was going to say probably the road schedule, right? And we slayed the beast a little bit last year, right? You went to Florida, had a big win in Gainesville, and then, wet the bed again at Auburn and South Carolina. So I think that's daunting. Notre Dame, at LSU, at Texas. Because I'm not worried about this team. I think this team's going to be better. I'm concerned about whether the record's going to show it or not.
Yeah.
So I think the schedule's still tough. I'm going to throw Ed Arkansas in there too, right?
Oh,
I've been there. So
just that stretch. Arkansas, LSU, Missouri, it's just, you're just not at home. It's all it is to it. It's tough.
3 straight roadies.
But if you win the games you're supposed to win, it could be a fun season, guys, right? Like, I'm not saying lose the games you're expected to lose, but if you win the games you're supposed to win,
sure.
Now we're talking about, because I think they're going to be favored in 9 games.
You're talking about playing in December.
Exactly right. What's on your mind? Oh, you already answered that. What keeps you up at night?
What keeps me up? Well, the based part of me says nothing about athletics keeps me up at night. But the reality, now, if I had to kind of peg one thing, it's probably the defensive line, just because it's an unknown. And that's so important in the SEC. Your defensive line, the strength of it, the big boys on the inside, the rush on the outside. But it's not the talent, because we know the talent is there.
Yep.
So it's just me seeing it with my own eyes. That's my concern. And then from a bigger perspective, we need to be a program that puts corners and safeties into the league regularly. And so I need to start seeing more out of our secondary as a whole, in the sense that, and I think recruiting is doing this, right? They're picking up some big names, some big talent in the secondary. But we need to be the kind of team that it's great we're putting in defensive linemen, offensive linemen. It's great that we're putting these people in, but a mark of a truly dominant program, and you can just look at Georgia, right? They look at Alabama. Look at the schools that consistently put double-digit numbers into the draft. It's from all over the field. It's not just like your linebacker, which we used to be. I miss those days. But seeing a little bit more, it's like seeing more dominance out of the secondary, to the extent that these guys are going in the draft, right? We're seeing corners and safeties playing in the NFL. So, and I know that's a pipeline thing. That's not necessarily this season, but that's something that's, I think, wildly important relative to the strength of this program.
Do you feel better about it with Lee, Healthy Chappelle,
I feel good about where we're at now. It's just continuing that pipeline.
Right. All right, let's hit a break here. We'll come back. We're going to play start, bench, cut. All right?
Ooh.
It's a Hunter special. It's a good idea, yeah. We're going to do that. It might become a staple in the fan show. Farm and ranch families understand something that some city folks don't usually get. They just understand their history, their origin, and that's why Chance McClain has started with his Heritage Films a new branch to that is called Farm and Ranch Films. They love to tell people's family stories, business stories, and also their farm and ranch stories. As a part of the Heritage Films family, he has crafted over 200 films for farmers and ranchers. He's done so many interviews, thousands of interviews across the country, and he wants everybody who's a TexAgger to know and an Aggie fan to know, you love your story, he loves your story, let's tell that story. The website is yourheritagefilm.com, yourheritagefilm.com. If you have a farm and a ranch, click on that section of the website. You can tell that story as well for the future generations. You can call them up at 713-893-8341. It is Heritage Films. And we're back. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. So Hunter Shurtleff had an idea. Play a little start, bench, cut. What team are you starting, benching, and cutting? Kind of explain your vision, and we're all going to play.
Well, this came from listening to all the prognostications at SEC Media Days. Right, everybody had their team and who they're voting for. Certainly, Texas is a hot team. You had the normal Georgia, Alabama up top, and I was just like, I don't know if I believe in this team, or I don't know about this team, and I don't like this quarterback. And so I was like, man, we ought to bring that to the fan show.
So in the SEC, we stay in the SEC.
Team-wise.
Team-wise. So we're buying the team that we think is going to be.
No, we're starting.
Starting a team that we think is going to win the whole thing, or we think is going to be much improved?
Yeah, best team. Who's your team?
Who's your team is going to win? Bench is who's probably a little hyped and you're not sure on, and cut is they are overhyped and you are not hearing it.
Gotcha. Okay.
Is that right?
Yep.
Love it.
So who's going to go first? Let's let Hunter go.
Okay. So the start that's hard, right? Because I really probably want to say Texas. I just think they're going to be good, and they're playing. And I got schedule involved in this too, right? Because I'm trying to look at the end of year, right? The teams that were picked 13, 14, 15, and 16th in the conference. Yeah, again, that's Texas plays those.
Sure.
And the other one is Florida.
Sure.
So they just got an easy schedule, right? And I think they're good on defense. I really like their running backs. I think Arch is probably going to be good. They got so anyways, but that's not who I'm going with.
Hey, good.
The proven commodity, right? Buy the stocks that buy the
Bulldogs?
Buy the IBMs, the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Oh, the Tide. Okay. That's
I like DeBoer. I don't know about Simpson and their quarterback. I just like the Tide.
They're loaded with talent.
Absolutely. And I do like their coaching staff, so that's my starters.
I agree with you, by the way. I'm just going to tell you my buy. That's who I have and I can't give you a great reason because I don't know anything about Ty Simpson except a very small, limited sample size, which you can say about a lot of other quarterbacks in the SEC. But something tells me that defense that they have and the way last season ended, I think that they could have been a playoff team if they beat Oklahoma, right? They didn't.
Bench? You do all three, or do we want to rotate?
Let's all just start.
Okay. I'm taking the low-hanging fruit. Start. I'm taking the Bulldogs.
Okay.
They've been the class of the SEC for a few years. I like Kirby Smart. I always have. He doesn't stop recruiting. They have all the talent in the world, and so literally, this is just a low-hanging fruit. I'm taking the Bulldogs.
Yeah, I mean that's the same one.
Yep.
I mean, I'm doing the same thing just because. I mean, if you really look at it, I mean, you're crazy not to think that. I mean, it's going to be. I mean, it's the SEC honestly. Let's just be honest. Has not been difficult. It's really been Alabama and Georgia the last
minus one pop up with Joe Burrow.
Yeah, the last 10 years basically. Yeah. I mean, you pretty much can go into the season going, okay, it's probably going to be one of these three teams. Yeah. I think Georgia's the most loaded. I think they've got the most talent. I think they got the most NFL ready talent. I think they got the best coaching staff. Schedule is a little tougher than even Alabama's and Texas, but I still think that they're the best overall team. And so, yep, low hanging fruit, easy answer, Georgia Bulldogs.
Roy May, who are you benching?
I'm benching LSU.
I get it.
It's one of those things where it seems like all of a sudden there's been a ton of hype around LSU over the last month and a half, but I'm not necessarily seeing it. Like they lost a lot, all right? And I don't think Garrett Nussmeier is. I don't think he's a Heisman guy. I feel like a lot of people are banking this on the whole, like, remember what Joe Burrow did his second year? That's what Nussmeier's going to do. I feel like that's where all this, at least a lot of this hype is coming, is from LSU. So I'm benching LSU until I see if Garrett Nussmeier can, like, fully execute throughout an entire season and to see if their defense can ever stop the option read.
I am benching Oklahoma.
Oh,
right? So just kind of just recently.
Too.
They got the quarterback transfer. They got they're saying they got some transfer receivers and their defense is solid. And I get it. They were a disaster last year. They were injuries. It was like a Jimbo's last year, playing four quarterbacks. I mean, it was bad, right? Again, schedule's ridiculously hard. I just think they got too many pieces. I'm just kind of a wait and see. So I'm gonna bench them.
See, I've got two that I'm kind of I'm kind of on the fence about.
Yep.
And one, because I think they're going to be worse, and another one, I mean, bench is kind of our mid tier, right?
Right.
Another one I think is going to be better.
Okay.
So I'm kind of between Ole Miss and Florida.
Okay.
Ole Miss is going. I think they're taking a step back from the team they were last year. I just don't think that. I mean, they've lost a lot of the talent. I mean, of course they're big in the transfer portal, so you never know what they could look like. But I think Ole Miss is taking a step back. Where I think Florida's taking a step forward. Going to be a better team than they were last year. I think Lagway could end up being the best quarterback in the entire league, even this year.
They can keep him out of a walking boot.
If he plays. If they can keep him healthy, I think he's going to be one. I think Napier turned the tide last year. He can turn the season around, and so I think Florida. I'm kind of between. I'm going to go with Florida just because I think because I think they're going to be better than what a lot of people are thinking.
I'm going to give two answers as well. It's called a Billy Lucci special. Here's my answer. South Carolina, because I think they're going to be good, but they're not playoff good, right? Their defense is different, and they don't know the running back situation. I think LaNorris is great, but can he really carry them to another 9-3 year? No, I don't think he will.
Their projections are a casualty of talking season.
Correct. And then the other one is Texas. I do think they're going to be in the mix for the playoffs, but there has to be some bumps on the road, right? I just can't imagine. The defense is going to be so solid, and I think they'll probably end up in the playoffs, right? If they win that first game against Ohio State, which, by the way, I do have them winning, that's going to pave a nice road for them.
Oh, yeah.
But starting off like that in that environment, and then, I think their schedule is harder than it was last year. You're going to Athens, right? Hopefully A&M's a better football team and a better offensive team. Hopefully that's a hard game. And going to Gainesville, I just don't think it's as easy as it was last year, where their first ranked road game was A&M. So they're going to have a couple of those, I think, on their schedule this year. All right, so now we're cutting, right? Everybody went?
Yeah.
You can start.
Okay. So
well,
this one
start. You started. Yeah.
So this one is I'm cutting Tennessee. Cutting Tennessee just because we have no idea what the quarterback situation looks like. They are just such a Jekyll and Hyde type of team. I mean, they go from being the best offense one of the best offenses we've ever seen, to last year they were absolutely awful, and which is crazy. Their defense carried them last year, and you've got, with Heupel as your coach, you'd think you'd be offensively a juggernaut every year, which they weren't. Yeah. So the Jekyll and Hyde portion of that would worry me. So Tennessee would be the team I'd sell. I'd also put in the second. I'd put South Carolina in there. Okay. Because South Carolina, the reason I'd put South Carolina in to sell is, yes, they've got a known commodity at quarterback, but the rest of their team
lost a ton.
Yeah, they don't have their roster compared to the rest of the SEC is not loaded with NFL talent like a lot of the other ones are.
But you know what though? Where I would argue, I agree with you, by the way. Where I'd argue about South Carolina is last year they didn't really have a lot of players on offense either. They had a very bad offensive line. How many times did we sack LaNorris?
Oh, we hit him none. But we hit him like 15 times in the backfield holding the ball, and he still didn't go down for some reason.
So I don't know how much. No Rocket Sanders makes a difference, right? So
that's actually my cut team.
South Carolina?
South Carolina, right? I love Sellers, and he's a returning quarterback, which a lot of these teams we're talking about, Georgia, I don't know anything about Gunnar Stockton. I've seen him play a little bit,
Texas,
Austin
OU.
Simmons, Ty Simpson. I don't know how to project these. We do know LaNorris. Oh, Lordy.
Thanks for the clips on South Carolina.
I'm going to have a bone to pick with Nick in a minute. So I just don't think they're going to be where they're being hyped, even though they're predicted mid-conference. That's my cut team. Love the quarterback, don't love the rest of them.
I was close with Tennessee. I was close on benching it just because I think they're so spastic. My cut team, for absolutely no rational thought whatsoever, but because my closet is full of maroon, is Texas.
Let's go.
I'm cutting Texas because I hate Texas. I don't think Arch Manning is going to live up to any sort of potential. And if he does, fine, bookmark it. Don't care. But I hate Texas, so I'm cutting them. That's it. That's my reasoning.
I'm okay with that.
Right. I dig it.
If they finish third in conference, it will be hilarious because they'll melt them.
Can we cut this and tweet it out? I like that.
Yeah, thanks. Please don't.
No, but it's good. It's good content.
Nick said earlier, real quick though, that he was talking about the South Carolina game last year. He said that was kind of close. We were hanging around. I just didn't. I thought that was a beatdown, and we didn't handle it.
It was brutal.
But it was a beatdown. But there was a moment where it became a beatdown. Right. Like there was obviously you had an opportunity to score and make it interesting. They were tied at. Well, no, they were down at halftime. I think it was down. 23-20 at the half, if I remember correctly.
It was, yeah, you're right.
I think they were down 23-20. But they should have gone into the half with a lead.
Yeah.
They should have.
Yeah, if you can tackle that quarterback, I mean, the game.
Second or third play of the game, they had him. It would have changed the whole thing. Anyway, I'm cutting Missouri.
Ooh, good call, yeah.
Who is on Missouri? Okay, I just spit everywhere. There's COVID everywhere. No Theo Weiss, right? Like, Luther Burden. Like, the whole thing is different. And if I'm going to take points away from Texas and Georgia and all these teams for Notre Dame for losing guys, I'm going to do it to a Missouri team who does have a favorable schedule. But they got to prove it to me, right?
Yeah.
Pribula's got to prove it to me. I've got to know who this team really is. Their defense is supposed to be really good. They're supposed to be able to run the ball. Great. But are they really what were they, 9-3 last year, right? Are they really that team again? I think they're taking a step back.
If I were being rational, I would probably cut Tennessee.
Yeah. Take that, Drinkowitz.
Hey, something else too. Hey, somebody else we didn't even mention, Vandy. Which I know is that seems like low hanging fruit, but I mean people are high on Vandy just because of Pavia.
They're not going to be the same team.
They're not going to be the same. Everyone's now aware of them. They're not going to overlook them like
they're high on Diego.
Yeah.
That's
by the way, I stood next to Diego. He's a steroid version of me. He's not on steroids, but he's a strong, but he's not very tall.
Yeah.
He didn't seem.
Are you taller than him?
I don't think so because I'm not tall. But he's seen. I don't know, Nick. You pipe in. How tall did Diego Pavia seem to you? Like, you know, like
I was eye level with him.
6 feet.
You were eye level with him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like he wasn't very big.
And how tall are you?
Like 5'9".
5'9". So he's really 5'7". So yeah, so Diego Pavia. All right. Let's hit a break.
Just to be clear, I'm cutting Texas sheerly out of spite. I think they're going to be really good.
Don't click that part.
Yeah, I think they're going to be good. I'm not buying Arch.
Do you think they win that first game at Ohio State?
No.
You don't?
I don't.
Okay.
Arch Manning road game in the shoe. That's
at 11 though. Everybody's
but
sober.
That's when the Big Ten thrives. It's the big noon kickoff.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think it sets up the same way as Michigan last year.
Yeah.
Ohio State loses everybody. That's not the national championship team coming back.
You got Texas winning.
Yeah.
Texas. I have Texas win that defense. And I think Arch is more. Julian Sayin hasn't played yet.
I'm with Roy. Out of spite, I'm picking Ohio State to win that game.
God, it's like terrorists playing terrorists.
Yeah.
If you want to run away from a terrorist, you go to Brazos Running Company and get the right running shoe. When you see them in your vicinity, you just start running like Forrest, right? And they've got all the running shoes you can imagine at the Brazos Running Company. If you want Brooks, you want On, you want Hoka, they've got that there as well. If you're a runner or walker or interested in fitness, the right shoe makes all the difference. And at the Brazos Running Company, they're passionate about finding you that right running shoe. Again, if you're running from a terrorist or you just want to go for a jog at Aggie Park, whatever it may be, they have Yori there. They've got duck camp gear, same level of heart rate in both situations. Turtle Box speakers, Stanley Cup, Brazos Running Company, located at Century Square below the Star Cinema Grill in College Station. It is the Brazos Running Company. Great timing. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Roller Insurance Studio. A couple of minutes left on the program. Guys, I'm going to do a tired topic from the show today. It's tired. People are tired of it, but I want to get your perspective. All right? Each of you. We got basically 3 minutes. Oh, yeah, we did have a question for you. We don't have to do my tired topic yet. Let's go to Kaylee Dreyer at the Angry Elephant News and Social Center because there was a question that came in for the panel.
On the YouTube chat, Dave says, will any freshmen contribute?
Dave and Edmund? Dave Branham?
Dave Branham.
Yeah, we're not doing that. Just kidding. Go ahead.
He says, question for the fan show, will any freshmen contribute significantly? What are y'all's thoughts?
I think receiver is going to be the spot.
Jerome Miles?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna try to, and D line maybe because it's for depth, but I'm going to say Miles.
Generally, that's a problem. Generally on the line, you're just not quite there physically, and no matter how much you've done, like it's a little different kind of beast when it comes to the line. I'm probably with you on a wide receiver because you can't teach or coach speed. So if you come in fast, you're just fast, right? Yep. And so wide receiver will probably
outside of Anias, I can't remember a freshman receiver who at A&M in a very, very long time who had an impact, like a first-year freshman, not like a redshirt freshman. I'm talking first-year freshman.
I mean, we tried last year, Bussy.
But Anias had a productive season. Yeah, that's the only one I can think of. So honestly, I do not think. As of right now, sitting here in July, the last day of July, I don't think there is going to be a freshman.
Who's the freshman running back? I mean, again, it's just too packed back there. You're not going to get.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way. You're in the cheap seats when it comes to
O-line is full of upperclassmen. The D-line is. I mean, you're right. The D-line is
probably not much to answer the question.
I don't think there. As of right now, I don't think there will be.
And that's one thing. Also, when you just look at positions like where can freshmen truly impact? Being a wide receiver, if you can really nail down the tree and you run routes well, it doesn't matter how old you are if you're fast. And if you're fast and you have good hands, running backs.
Because last year a certain team had a wide receiver. He was only 17 years old.
I heard.
Hey, so let me ask you guys this. I'm going to kind of frame it differently. Of the 3 major road games, Notre Dame, and there's going to be other tests. Right? I think we're all worried about Arkansas and others, right? Missouri. But of the 3 major ones, Notre Dame, Texas, and LSU. How many do you think the Aggies legitimately will win? And which of those will they win?
I think they'll win 2.
Oh, God, I love the way you think. That sounded sexual.
But unfortunately, nice. I think they'll win 2, and I think the one they lose is going to piss us off the most. I think.
I mean, just hearing that question, I mean, my guttural response is 0, and I hate to say that.
So you know what? I'm going to talk myself into this.
I'll say 1 just for argument, and I'll say it's Notre Dame.
Okay. I'm going to talk myself into this. So I believe they beat Notre Dame. I really do. In my heart, I believe they beat Notre Dame. I think I've heard it enough to where I believe we beat LSU because I've heard it enough from people that are not like TexAg, not in College Station. I've heard it enough. I can talk myself into it.
Okay. So 2.
Yeah, we're going to win all 3.
Oh.
I can talk myself into it.
Another clip.
I'm
1 for you, 3 for you, and
I think we'll win one of those games. Which one? I don't know. I really don't. I think the easiest answer there is Notre Dame, simply because we've not ever won in Baton Rouge, or not since we were all in high school, Hunter was.
I was there.
Hunter was a full-blown adult at that point. So I think LSU is the worst of those 3 teams. So, but
we got to drop.
Gotta hope we beat Texas.
Hope we beat them all.
Yeah, just beat Texas. Beat them all. Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching and listening. Tomorrow's show, really, really good. Billy Lucci and a special guest. I don't remember who it is, but it's good.